I swear to you, one of these days, it's going to balance itself out. And we try that every time we can. Like, if we're going to start early, we try to start early, and then the next time we'll start a little bit later. We never can start exactly on time, but we're starting as early as we possibly can.
This going from the guy that only got in 15 minutes ago.
Hey, that's not my fault. I have a shoot job.
I know.
I was at the shoot job all day.
I know, but it's just like we need time to sort of prepare and know what we're going to be talking about.
Right. That's the reason I set up a template every week.
We don't want to go in dry.
No, not at all. Welcome to another edition of the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast, exclusively here on the Podcast Network. My name is Owen. This is Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the show where we put everything down and we talk about everything at once. So basically, we're going to be discussing Smackdown, 205 Live, Impact. Of course, we're building to Slammiversary in a couple of weeks. Actually, a week from this past Sunday. And then we got Lucha Underground, What Culture Pro Wrestling, UFC, and other MMA news. We have NXT, Ring of Honor, everything going on in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and all the news and rumors surrounding the wrestling world. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another edition of the Wednesday Wrestling Podcast. So as I see something that a lot of people have let me know about and that I will soon procure, somebody finally listened to the show, Ashley, at the right time. Fandango and Tyler Breeze have merchandise. The Fashion Police have a t-shirt.
Yes. The Fashion Police t-shirt.
I don't have it yet, but I will be getting it shortly. Plus, I'm waiting for Hot Topic to put the Bullet Club shirts on their online store because I don't have a way to get to our local Hot Topic until potentially when Scott gets back in town next week. He's actually be back in town next week for about a week. Maybe I can get over to the mall there and be able to check out Hot Topic for myself. But other than that, I'm going to have to wait because I had a nice conversation with Hot Topic on Twitter the other day about the Bullet Club merch, and it is going to be available online. So, and I will be getting the Fashion Police t-shirt very soon as well. So yes, thank you WWE for finally paying attention. I've whined long enough. I will proudly sport my Fandango shirt on Halloween Horror Nights 27 employee preview night on September 13th. But on opening night, I will very proudly sport my Fashion Police t-shirt. And then Bullet Club probably the rest of the week.
Yeah.
Bullet Club, Kevin Owens, you know how I do. So we got a lot to talk about tonight. A lot of things have been going down. Obviously, we just had a pay-per-view, and the fallout happened this week on SmackDown. So Ashley, take it away.
So yeah, all the women are outside Daniel's office and says he'll hear from each and every one, but he wants to hear from Carmella and Ellsworth first. So Ellsworth and Carmella make their way out. And Carmella says, "Welcome to the fabulous era of Carmella." And for the last 48 hours, Carmella's been trending worldwide. But it hasn't been trending because she is the champion. It's because of how she won. And people are saying she tarnished the first ladder match or the fact that James has a climb a ladder. But who cares? I've been overlooked and underestimated since it was the last pick of the women's division. Natalia may have her pedigree, Tamina may have her power, Becky may have a straight fire, or Charlotte may have whatever. None of the things about those women matter because I'm intelligent. Everyone was talking about making history. Carmella was planning for her future. Won the match fair and square. Kane helped Seth Rollins win a few years back. And then Wyatt bloody prevented Roman Reigns from winning, and Sheamus won the match. All you internet trolls just had to tweet to Daniel Bryan to deal with the issue. It's pathetic. She earned the briefcase. It was no DQ. There are no rules. So when Bryan comes out, you have to make a decision and have to reinforce what she said. She is Miss Money in the Bank, and there's not a damn thing anybody can do about it. So Daniel's been watching this apparently in his office, and Charlotte comes in asking about, her neck, and Charlotte says, "Don't worry about that. Just do your job." And Daniel goes, look, it was no DQ. And Charlotte says, look, it was supposed to be the 5 people that were in the match. Now, everyone was excited to be part of history. And all you got to do now is do the right thing. So, New Day have a skeleton.
Oh, this can't be good.
They planned on coming out with the titles. But they dipped before they could get the chips around the hips. And that Jay and Jimmy did a prison break at their own penitentiary. And Xavier's like, we want to invite the Usos into the New Day's playpen. And Kofi introduces the Warden because he's big, he's handsome, he's got a big nightstick, and he ain't afraid to use it.
Oh boy!
And Big E's just like, there's no easy way out of their jurisdiction. So it's Big E versus Jimmy Uso to start off, which isn't too bad of a match. Big E blocks a super kick and then hits the big ending for the win. Clearly, we're obviously building to Battleground in a month.
Of course.
So now Daniel's on the phone with Shane. And here come Natalya and Tamina. Natalya says, it's great for you to be back, Daniel. And Daniel asks about Natalya's shoulder and says it's fine. Wishes Daniel a happy Father's Day. And congratulates him on being a first-time dad. And Tamina basically just asks, are you going to let Carmella and that little sock puppet of hers run around with a briefcase? And Daniel says, I'll let you know shortly. So then here comes Naomi asking about Carmella and says, Naomi's like, it's a shame how things ended up. But I don't care about who gets the case because whoever it is, they better be ready. So here comes Lana saying, Naomi should be thanking Carmella because if it wasn't for her, the SmackDown Women's Champ would be her. And Lana challenges Naomi to a fair rematch. And Naomi says, fine. Next week, you and me. So now we've got a backstage interview with Randy Orton with Tom. And Randy says, look, in my hometown, I took my eyes off the prize. It cost me the title. Before, I know how the numbers games work. I can deal with that. But what I can't deal with is people disrespecting my family. And it's not about me being a 14-time champ. It's about Jinder crossing the line. And don't worry, this is far from over. He'll hurt Jinder and hurt him bad. He doesn't care if he does it to Jinder or the Stings. He will go to India and raid down RKOs on Jinder's entire family. He's fucking Canadian.
Of course.
So then we get Ziggler versus Nakamura. Sorry, when you've seen it like multiple times, you get sick of it. Nakamura wins. He still has the unbeaten run, really. Solid match. Nothing atrociously bad, but nothing that's sort of like blow away good. Mainly because they did it on Backlash, probably.
Pretty much.
So Daniel Bryan's then telling Sami Zayn that he's facing Baron Corbin next week. And Sammy's like, well, considering I've beaten before, I like the sound of that. And then here comes Becky. And he says basically to her, look, I think you got robbed last night. And Becky says, Daniel, everyone's coming to you. And the worst part is, I had my hand on that briefcase. And then he pushes the ladder over and then he climbs the ladder. SmackDown isn't the land of opportunity. To me, it feels like the land of handouts. Now, it doesn't matter how hard I train. Someone always cuts in front of me. I'm prepared, and it always happens. I just want to know, what can I do? And Daniel's just like, look, it's complicated, and Becky just walks away. We're teasing a heel turn.
Yep, big time.
In a very well done way. In a sort of, she doesn't want to cheat, but if that's what's the only way that's going to get her the chances to actually get at the thing, beggars can't be choosers.
I think it actually is going to work quite well if they pull it off.
So Kevin Owens is making his way to the ring. And basically says that the only reason I don't have the briefcase is because the other 5 men conspired against me because they know that I was the best guy in the match. There was an injustice. I'm in the ring tonight, unbroken, the new face of America, and your US champ. Now, Shane loves to say SmackDown's the land of opportunity. And I say the US was the original land of opportunity. So it's my job to make SmackDown the land of opportunity again. So I'm going to give somebody from Dayton a chance at the belt. So AJ makes his way out and says, that's unfortunate, Kevin. What's going to be better than being United States champ is beating you for the belt. And Kevin's like, you're just a typical rude American, AJ. Sticking your nose where it don't belong. Because this match is against somebody from Dayton. And here comes Chad Gable. And Kevin rightfully goes, hold on, Chad. You're not from here. And Chad's like, I'm here to answer your challenge because I just moved here. And Kevin's like, so what's the address? And basically he gives the address of the arena. So, of course, AJ goes, I think I know that place. That's definitely in Dayton. Ring the bell. So
that's great.
They have a pretty good match, even though it is somewhat short.
Right.
Most important thing, fucking Kevin, reverse chinlock.
Yes. Chinlock City, baby.
Indeed. Gets the win with a pop-up powerbomb. And all I'll say to that is that one's for you, Chandler. We'll get to that in a bit.
Know it. I got a question, Ashley, since I didn't get a chance to check out this match. Did Gable end up going for Chaos Theory and he actually get it on Kevin?
Yeah, Gable did connect with Chaos Theory, but Kevin kicked out. Nice. Probably good. Something.
That's what I like to hear.
So then Zack Ryder showing Daniel his knee injury and says, look, we deserve a tag title match. And Mojo says, we've never had our title match and we deserve it because we earned it. So Daniel's just like, okay, I'll give you another chance to actually earn it tonight, but you need to beat the Usos next week. So Daniel's making his way to the ring. And says, it's great to be back. We just had the Women's in the Bank ladder match. Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Women in the Bank, yes.
Women in the Bank. Continue.
And he's been told to take his emotions out of it and look at the rule book. So here come all the women, including Carmella and James. And Daniel says, look, the decision involves all of you. And, Carmella, you do have valid points. It is no DQ. And the rules say you can have somebody else climb the ladder and hook the briefcase. And the first woman to hold the briefcase wins the match. But then he mentions interference in other matches. But there's never been somebody that's climbed the ladder, unhooked the briefcase, and then handed it to somebody else. There's been incidents where people have climbed the ladder, got it, dropped it, and then it's falling into other people's hands. There's been other people attacking, allowing the other person to climb up the ladder. Deal. But never somebody else doing it. So Ellsworth's like, what's gotten into you? Being a daddy to a vegan hippie baby, you've gone soft. And Daniel says, if you talk about my kid again, I'll punch you in the face and fire you. And Daniel says, look, Sunday you competed in the first Women's Bank ladder match. And Carmella is the first woman to have to turn over the Money in the Bank briefcase. Because I will not let Ellsworth interrupt one of the most important matches in women's wrestling. So next week on SmackDown, we're doing it all over fucking again.
Hold on. You do realize they are 100% setting up Ellsworth in a dress, in drag, coming out and getting involved.
Don't remind me.
I hate this angle completely. I can't wait till it completely gets washed away from history.
So Becky takes out Tamina. Charlotte and Becky basically take out Carmella. So I guess that means Natalya did fuck all?
Apparently.
So next up, Luke Harper versus Jinder Mahal. Not too bad. I will say, you can already tell that Luke Harper's a better champion than Jinder Mahal, and he doesn't even have the fucking belt.
Well, I could have told you that.
Jinder wins with the thrust kick and the Cobra Clutch Slam. But then afterwards, Orton's music hits, comes to the ring. Jinder sends the sings after Orton. Orton takes care of them. Fez press, clothesline on Jinder to the floor. Throws him into the announce table. Hits a backdrop driver onto the ringside barrier. Then the IEDDT off the barrier. The Sings then make the save, and Orton kicks and RKO's one of them, and then the other gets RKO'd off the turnbuckle. Jinder's watching from the crowd, shitting himself, realizing, why the fuck are they pushing me as champion when all India cares about the minute is Impact Wrestling and cricket?
I never thought you'd say that.
And on that bombshell, we transition to 205 was live yesterday.
Correct.
So Swan and Tozawa are in the back. And Swan's facing Neville tonight. Here comes Titus. And Swan leaves, and Titus just says, you showed the world what Apollo Crews has been telling me from the beginning. You've got everything that it takes to take this brand international, and I want to finalize the deal and give you the contract. You want to play hard to get, but I've already offered you an extra 5% on your first merch deal. But I'll give you a deal you can't refuse on Raw. What's that? Titus gets fired? For assaulting Vince McMahon again? Or something? So we start off with Jack Gallagher versus Tony Nese, which is not too bad. Nese gets the win, actually, interestingly. The Nese rolls him up. Well, hits him with a roll up into the turnbuckles and then a running knee and gets the win. Then, of course, Noam's on FaceTime again with Alicia Fox and talks about moving on from Cedric. And Cedric just says, it's over. And Alicia says, it's over when I say it's over. And Noam just is like, Cedric, you should just quit this brand or make your life a living hell. Can you fish? Because you'll have to fish it out the bottom of the river. And then Cedric shows his bag. And Noam asks Alicia if she said the bag was gold. And Daivari comes in and asks, where is my bag? There's only 2 of them in the world and it costs $15,000. But so, of course, Noam's in the shit again, I guess. So then we have a video package for what do we want? Ground-based offense. When do we want it? Now.
That's amazing. God bless you, Drew Gulak.
Basically, Drew tells Mustafa that, you're not on the fast track to superstardom. All these people are brainwashed by the 450 splash. They need a good top wrist lock. They know better than the WWE Universe. It's their job to give everybody a better 205 live and declare this match a no-fly zone. So, of course, Ali drop kicks Gulak to the floor, hits him with a pescado. As we gear into the match, which is a pretty damn good match, as you'd expect. Somewhat high-fly sort of stuff. But he doesn't win with the standard move. So, yeah, he hits the rolling neck breaker, goes up to the turnbuckle. Gulak manages to catch him, but Ali rolls through with a roll-up, and Ali wins. So now Gallagher's in the back, recovering after his loss. And Aries comes in, throwing him a towel. And says, watching your match, I saw what happened at the end. It was a tough loss. I know how it feels, You're trying to be a gentleman and it hasn't worked. You got Neville, Neeson, and TJ Perkins. But perhaps there's something working for them. And we might need to cut corners. And Jack's like, I'm not a man to cut corners, sir. And Aries responds with, look, you've helped me over the last few months and I appreciate it. But, let's be honest, we probably are seen by many as the International Men of Mustache.
Oh, I love that name.
Oh my fucking God. Are you going to do this, you cunts? Are you going to do this? Are you going to fucking do this?
Sounds like it.
I know you're wrestling this weekend, guys. Tyler, Trent, I don't think you listen to this. If somebody can get this to them, put some extra gel on whatever product that you put into your mustaches and make them look fucking incredible. And make Aries and Gallagher go, we're fucked. Seriously. So then they recap Neville and Rich Swann from last week. And TJ Perkins meets up with Swann, and Perkins says, I was thinking about what you said. I don't appreciate you accusing me of cutting corners. Or if I've got a chip on my shoulder. I didn't appreciate it happening before the match last week. And Rich is just like, I wasn't trying to get into your head. And TJ's like, no, I know what you did it. Tonight's you in the main event, so make sure you take care of business. So here comes Cesaro in a dapper suit, and he's got like this, I don't know, the purple room, the purple zone. And we've got a purple chair, purple like rope, curtailing it off. All that good shit. So Neville and Swann, as you'd expect, very good match. Neville winning with the Rings of Saturn. Swan has to tap, obviously. Then Neville standing on the turnbuckles, just staring all the way down at Tozawa on the floor in his chair. And that's too hot.
All right. Now we move on from our WWE portion of the show to our Impact Wrestling portion of the show. So what's going on in India right now, Ashley?
India! That's what's happening.
Exactly.
So we're starting off with the bloody Sony 6 Invitational Gauntlet. Shearer won.
Gee, and water is wet.
Celebrating with his family at ringside. I don't know. It was just like, it's complicated because it's like a 10-man rumble and I can't keep track of these fucking things. But
Right.
Shearer did come in at number 10, so you know. Of course. Who knows?
I might be able to help with this.
It's just bloody, Suicide and Side were in first. I think Davey was third, I think. Then we had Kevin Matthews get involved. Then Swoggle was in at number 5.
Right?
Eddie was number 6.
Yep.
Then, I guess during commercial, because reasons, Spud was number 7.
Right.
And then Congo Kong was number 8. Moose was number 9. And Shearer was 10. And it basically, the final 2 was him and Kevin. And see, from what I remember, the rules of this were it was basically over the top rope until you got to the final 2.
Mm-hmm.
In which case, it just became a standard match. Thanks for the complicated rules, guys. Jeez. The important thing is Shearer won. I don't know why I'm saying that's important, because it isn't.
That's not important.
So, then of course we've got Josh Matthews saying, well, the main event tonight is my sparring session. And then Borash goes, no, it isn't. It's Sanjay Dutt's shot at the X Division title 15 years in the making. And they do a good old package for him. Then they're marking that D'Angelo Williams will be making his in-ring debut at Slammiversary.
Oh, goody.
Oh, fuck.
Yay, sports.
He's training at Scott D'Amore's school. Then we've got archive video of Park and Borash training by stuffing themselves with Chinese food. Then we're off to the LAX clubhouse. And Conan says, we couldn't go to India because we've all got priors. So instead, we'll go around the local indies and take all their money from the promoters and the boys there. So, yep. This is LAX's exposition of Wonga. Bloody hell.
Welcome, Jeremy, to chat. Thank you for watching Archives. And we continue.
I am. I'm just trying to get the...
We got more EC3 mocking the various person that he's working with.
Yeah, trying to get the music right.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it should be trouble, 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 trouble. But instead, it's probably more like
Oh God.
trouble, 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 trouble. Trouble, 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 trouble.
Only on the Popcast Network do you have something like this.
I'm going to be abusing that for the next 2 weeks, guys.
Probably more than 2 weeks.
Actually, as long as Jinder's champion, I'm sort of sorted anyway.
Prepare for that.
So yeah, easing through here. You know, I've had a spiritual awakening. You know, he's in the full garb and everything, and gets in the ring and sort of goes into the meditation position. And there's some bloke. There's some bloke that is that angry about this. He's doing thumbs down so hard with his thumbs and everything. He's knocking his own glasses off his face.
EC3 is such an incredible heel. I'm so glad they finally pulled the trigger on turning him before the last set of taping.
So he's got a translator, so he can tell all the fans that his great grandfather was born in Calcutta. So not only are you with me, but I'm with you. India, it's a land of rich cultural history, and together, Impact Wrestling and India are making history. Now, I'm already rich, which nearly 99.99% of you will never be. There's no culture here in this third world hellhole. And I'm not here to make history. I'm here to destroy it. I came here to find peace and zen. But all I found was despair. So the fact of the matter is Impact and India deserve each other, as the people back home are worthless, incompetent, poor, and covered with refuse, just like India. Wow. He's throwing shit on his own company. I think this is veiled sort of things as the reason why he's going to be axed within the next 2 months. Jeff Jarrett ain't going to like it.
He's not Eli Drake. He's EC3. There's a difference.
You know, in all that refuse, there is one guiding light. Me! I'm the best there, the best here. And in a country of 1.5 billion nearly, I'm sure as hell the best guy everywhere. So, of course, as soon as this line's done, the translator's just like, I'm not translating that shit, son. And EC3's like, say it! Say it! Who does number 2 work for?
Nice.
By the way, go watch Baby Driver. It's the new La La Land. Literally. You know, I am India. And just like Impact Wrestling, you've been insubordinate, so you will be punished, translator man. So he hits him with a microphone, takes his belt off his jeans, and whips him. And whips him. Which I'm pretty sure is some sort of thing that happens to do with forced marriages. Probably.
Most definitely.
In which case, this is fucking awkward. Thankfully, James Storm makes the save before anybody realizes that, apart from me. So then a shot of earlier today. Apparently, Spud and Swoggle obviously were in the match earlier, but before all that, this happened, and they were sat at the same table with Los Conquistadores Indios seated between them. And they argue over who did what to who. Spud gets on top of the table. Oh, sorry, no. Squoggle gets on top of the table, puts Spud's face into the food and everything. And they run off. The Los Conquistadors are there, sort of like, what's going on? Hang on, we got to get the right music. Where is it? Where is the music? There it is. We need the music. I don't care if it's Indian. I should play the tuk 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 thing, but I can't because. Yes, it's the Los Conquistadors. We'll get to the good bit. Damn it!
Thank God for no copyright strikes so far. At least.
Yes. Sorry, this is more entertaining than what I've seen on quite a lot of this show. So now it's time for the public workout. And Josh is like, me and Steiner are going to destroy Borashan Park. But I'm not allowed to touch Borash until then. So here's this public sparring session, with an opponent handpicked. You know, he can't wrestle. Says he can. And I'll prove it when I take on a member of the 2008 Indian Olympic team, a star in a Bollywood, and a member of the national championship cricket team, Sandeep Khan. And I mean, it's not a fat midget, but he can't be like over 5 foot.
Oh boy.
This was just a jobber match, which was done terribly because Matthews really can't wrestle. You know, basically the finish comes with a test of strength thing, which results in Matthews just kicking him in the dick. Hits a swanton because that's a thing, and then puts on the Steiner recliner and he taps out. But Josh won't let go, so good old Mahabali Shira's got to come for the save.
Oh, God.
He's about to power slam Josh, but then Lashley makes the save and puts Mahabali Shira in a camel clutch. And then here comes Alberto. What the fuck? So then we got more training, and Joseph Parks playing with action figures of Alberto and Scott Steiner.
Oh boy.
Now, I know the Scott Steiner TNA figures.
Yes.
Is that an Alberto El Patron TNA figure?
Not yet.
Or something else? Can we verify that on shoptna.com?
I mean, there is no more shoptna.com. It's shopimpact.com now.
Or whatever.
I can confirm something about Slammiversary that it makes me very happy. For the first time in a long while, we're actually going to have a merch stand for Slammiversary.
My God.
I'm buying me a cherry bomb shirt. So, no, there's no picture. There's no figures that have been recent. There's a bunch of new shirts that are on shopimpact.com, but there's no figures.
So Borash says, look, we'll better watch some video of Steiner so we can prepare for moves and everything. So what do they watch? They watch this.
They say all men are created equal, but you look at me and you look at Small Joe, and you can see that statement is not true. See, normally if you go one-on-one with another wrestler, you got a 50-50 chance of winning. But I'm a genetic freak, and I'm not normal. So you got a 25% at best at beat me. And then you add Kurt Angle to the mix. As the winning drastically go down. See, the three-way at sacrifice You got a 33 and a third chance of winning. But I got a 66 and 2/3 chance of winning because Kurt Angle knows he can't beat me and he's not even going to try. So, Samoa Joe, you take your 33 and a third chance minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 and a third chance of winning at Sacrifice. But then you take my 75% chance of winning if we used to go one-on-one and then add 66 and 2/3%. I got 141 and 2/3 chance of winning at Sacrifice. See, Joe, the numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you at Sacrifice.
I wish I was joking. That's what they actually aired.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
And then, of course, the bloody him doing his ring announcing shit as well.
I fully support this.
And then they actually watch him wrestling and destroying a load of people. And they're scared shitless. And then their phone rings, and apparently it's Steiner. And both of them don't want to answer it. That's a thing.
Sounds very interesting.
So next up, Trevor Lee versus Braxton Sutter.
Oh, nice.
Lee smacks Braxton, knocks him to the floor, brings him back in, bridging German suplex. 2! Then he goes after Ali. Braxton just unloads on him. Bicycle kick, swinging Fisherman's Buster, and yep, that's a squash match of weird version 50-50 booking.
Pepper shaker with Braxton going over.
But now it gets interesting because Sienna shows up with the women's title belts. It was at least the GFW belt, sorry.
Okay.
And because apparently that's the title. The GFW brand is for women. Everything else is Impact, I guess.
Unique.
Of course, Laurel's there, and everyone thinks Ali's so innocent and pure. But, you know, you attacked us with a weapon for no reason last week, and, you know, considering you want to act like a wrestler, you get to be one. So, me and Laurel want you and your new friend Rosemary. And then Sienna's like, you think Rosemary's got a decent bone in her body? You know, remember what happened to the last two friends? Yeah. One went to WWE and the other is facing Scott Steiner.
That's a thing.
Yeah. So more hype for Loki versus Sanjay. Then Slammiversary promo. And then it's Moose in the ring, interrupted by Eli Drake and Adonis, saying that, Moose, you're making a point by missing the point. You know, I've been getting bullshit since I got here, and the new regime's come in and it's all the same. But then I look at you, you cross-eyed half-wit, of a title you don't deserve, because you know I can beat you. And I know Bruce Pritchard is in your pocket. So if I take a 75% chance of me beating you and the 66 2/3 chance of Bruce Pritchard being in your pocket, you got 141 2/3 chance of winning the belt at India. I think. Something like that.
We'll go with
Anyway.
that.
You know, but basically, he's like, wow, you've got your nose so far up Pritchard's ass, you probably know what kind of curry you had today. Implying that Indians only eat curry.
Yeah. Yeah, the writer kind of messed up on that one.
Mamma mia.
Oh, boy.
So, you know, let's make it easy, Moose says. And asks the fans, Do you want to see me whip these two fuckers at Slammiversary?
Please tell me that was said in those words.
Well, it was bleeped out. I
Oh
know
my
it was
God, they actually
assholes,
said-
fuckers, cunts.
That's
Who knows? But basically, Chris goes, there's two of us. There's only one of you. And Moose gets a mic after he overpowers the both of them and says, you want to know my partner? You'll find out next week. Except they already fucking ruined it about an hour ago.
It's the
Anybody
football
knows
player. Isn't
that?
it? It's the football player, isn't it?
I'm guessing it is, from what I remember.
All right.
So now we're back to Borash and Park, still going over like who the hell is going to answer the phone, and they do it together. And it's Scott Steiner having a walk in the park. What? And Borash and Park are like, look, we'll just call the match off. And Scott's just like, Joseph, you got a fat ass. And everybody knows how much I hate fat asses. We're actually doing fucking memes from YouTube as his character. What the fuck?
You know, honestly, it's not a bad idea, to be totally honest.
And they both want to hang up, but neither wants to. So they both just run. And Scott's just like, keeps going, I want to beat your fat asses.
Works for me.
You know what? You know what we're missing at the minute?
What's that? Oh no. I know where this is headed.
What we're missing is this.
He's fat!
We're
I'm
missing
gonna
that.
make him bleed.
Well, I don't know if we can go that far.
Maybe not in PG era, but it's not PG
He
in
said fat asses, and everybody knows. Just trying to think of other classic TNA fucking moments with him. There's a lot. Hang on, where's the where is it? Scott Steiner. Can't touch this. Because it was all in this.
You don't know me!
Well, this is WWE stuff, but some of it's here.
Right.
Right, this is for
Bad asses!
this is for research.
Bad asses!
Wow.
I think this should be entrances music. Get my bags.
Wait. Hold on. So
I'm doing him an egg. There's plenty of shit.
I can. Hold on.
There's
I
plenty
can.
of material that they could somehow use in the next 2 weeks.
So Timbo, Jeremy, and Zoe More's teardrop. That's hilarious. I will say right now, honestly, without any doubt, we have just like playing that. We have officially become the Brian and Vinny show.
Probably.
100% at this point.
Well, no, I did that for research.
I know, but still, that was so
I
much
know.
of Brian and
I
Vinny
heard
moment.
that years ago. It's awesome.
I don't disagree with you on that.
Oh, we've also got the bit when Scott Steiner couldn't remember how to spell mafia.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Just looking other Scott Steiner versus the English language. Oh, there's plenty. There's plenty of shit. So then we get an actual damn good match between Loki and Sanjay Dutt. Really good. Both do some really good stuff on each other. Both abusing the eye patches and everything. So yeah, Sanjay. So Loki goes for the key crusher, but Sanjay slips out and turns it into a tornado DDT.
Nice.
So Sanjay rolls to the apron, looks at the crowd as if to go, "It's my chance." Frog splash. 1, 2, 3. So yeah. And, the important thing is this has been one of the best X Division matches that they've had in months. Why? There's a fucking story going on. Loki trying to keep the belt, and Sanjay trying to get what's eluded him for 15 years. Not, here's a spot, 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 flippy shit, flippy shit, flippy shit. There was ring, psychology, and he's finally won it. And all the faces and the Indian wrestlers, of which I think there's only like 2, plus Lanka's sister Dores Indios. And they all celebrate as we shut off.
There you go. Sounds like a very
I guess what did happen is we had an almighty celebration probably going.
God.
Memes
for the win, I guess.
Memes. If you're getting a fucking emoji movie, you might as well have a meme podcast.
Oh, dear God, don't get me started on that crap. I'm so glad I do not have to do what we used to do.
That's what's next in the bloody Happy Meal toys. What the fuck?
I don't have to, thankfully, because that's... The funny thing is we're not probably going to get a review of the Emoji Movie until sometime in the midsummer.
The Emoji Movie from the same people that brought you Baby Driver. Yeah, I know which one you should be watching, kids.
Yeah, I'll be seeing Baby.
That has a lot of fucking swearing in.
I need to see Baby Driver. I'm aware. I'm working on it.
I've already seen it twice.
Well, it's not easy.
And I've got baby sunglasses as well.
Well, in my situation, it's not easy for me to watch movies anymore.
True.
But I will make an exception. Like, with AJ's really crazy good recommendation, I'm probably going to be watching It Comes at Night this weekend.
Good.
I'm watching Despicable Me 3 on Thursday.
Mixed things about it because I think 2017 seems to be at the rate we're going. The year of that's nothing like the fucking trailer.
That's good. That's a good thing, actually.
Yeah. They did it with Cars. They did it with Transformers.
Right.
They did it with It Comes at Night. They did it with La La Land.
Makes sense. So, yes, back to movie chat later on. So once again, I have to put this over since we're on the Impact segment. Obviously, we've had a couple of eliminations of the company. There's some people that did not renew their contracts.
Yeah. I mean, the 2 most high-profile ones, I would argue, are Al Snow and Gregory Shane Helms. But also, I believe Pat Kenny's gone as well.
Pat Kenny is definitely gone.
So, yeah. The interesting thing to note, Dave talked about this, because So I don't know whether we'll get the newsletter in time for this week and whatever, and actually, be on time with this. But Dave, in his updates and whatever, did put that basically a lot of good things have been said about Helms over the recent months since the new regime's come in. So the fact that he's gone,
it's interesting.
Somewhat surprising. Expect to see him show up alongside Devon in the next couple of months in WWE.
Oh God, absolutely. I can see no reason why that's not going to happen.
The exposition shall continue. Yes.
100%. So, Ashley, I don't know if you can see chat right now, but like I said, I got someone in chat named Enzo Amore's Teardrop. And he simply said, I'm heartbroken. I am a learner for life, and you can't teach that. My teardrop for the win, still entertaining than Roman Lames.
Well, you're more entertaining than the fucking Divas division right now.
That's a shoot. So once again, I have to reiterate, given the fact that we are very close, we're about a week from this Sunday, is Slammiversary. It's going to be live with my literal home away from home. Actually, not home away from home, my literal home, Universal Orlando Resort. And it's going to be the VIP experience and a package for Slammiversary. It's going to run from July 1st through the 6th. You're going to have fan interaction on Saturday at 9 to 3 with autographed 8x10s, and you get to post your photos. $10 merch coupon at the Impact merch stand. Slammiversary DVD to be announced which one is going to be what year. You're going to get the credential that's going to be able to set up your place in line at all the Impact tapings and at Slammiversary itself. First edition, all Impact tapings. And there's going to be a really awesome after-hours party after Slammiversary at 11:30 until 1 a.m. where they're going to be able to ride the Revenge of the Mummy over and over again and be able to hang out with a lot of the TNA superstars. So it's $199 for that VIP experience. If you're more information can be found Shop Impact or shoptna.com. Either one will direct you to where you need to go. It's Pinhead Larry, Ashley.
Probably.
So yeah, that's going to be your Impacts recap. So Ashley, so lately there's been a lot going on. Obviously, we're back in the temple now, as the pyro signifies we're going into Lucha Underground. It's weird timing when that pyro.
I'm going to keep an eye on Mauro Ranallo's shit.
Oh, that's fair.
Because he's supposed to be saying something.
That's fine. We can break news. We do every week here.
Either tonight or at the latest tomorrow. So we might be fucked in that sense.
We can mention it on Monday
or Friday or both.
But Friday is the fun show. That's the one I'm really interested in doing.
Yeah, but depending what the news is, it might be fun as well.
That's a very fair point.
We shall see. Anyway, so it's family first this episode. So we basically start off with, I guess, sort of in the parking lot area, and Phoenix and Melissa are sort of looking romantic with each other. And then looking on from a broken window in like an abandoned factory, Marty the Moth is going, "You fucking bitch." And that's the opening. Not as good as last week when it's like, think about it. If you're watching this on Series Watch on like iTunes or Netflix or whatever, this is coming straight after, oh my God, Cage just fucking killed a man. Look how romantic it is. Oh. So, speaking of Cage, he's in our bracket B, I guess, of the Cueto Cup first round. And he's taking on Vinny Massaro, who I have no fucking clue, in all honesty.
You know who he is, right?
A jobber?
You don't know who Vinny Massaro is?
I recognize him slightly, but I can't think of the name. Don't come.
Well, first off, he's a Mike Modest trainee. He's been working on the SoCal indie scene for about 20 years.
Wow.
So he also did a gimmick called Dick Grimes at the time. It was a feud with Vic Grimes. He did a lot of extensive work in All Pro. So he worked for Roland Alexander.
He fucking lost.
Of course he did. It's Lucha Underground.
They sort of like nearly gave him the upset win, but Cage was just pissed and then bloody choke slammed him off the apron straight down to the mat on the floor to the finish.
Fair point.
So I guess he's dead. I don't know.
It's Lucha Underground if you go either way.
We have this Australian bloke talking about Rey Mysterio.
Australian?
And then he talks about Johnny Mundo, who won a television talent competition, proving he was much tougher than his fellow competitors. Like, Jesus Christ. Why are we doing this build-up? Most of the people watching this know who the fuck John Morrison and Rey Mysterio are because they're John Morrison and Rey Mysterio.
Exactly.
You idiots. Anyway. So then we get to match number 2 of the Koito Cup bracket for this time. So it's Marty the Moth taking on Saltador. If you remember, he's one of the 3 Rabbit Tribe blokes. The thing to note throughout this is Marty keeps glancing over at Melissa and trying to get her attention, and she's nonplussed. Marty wins. Not too bad of a match. So then we come to backstage, and Masquerade is training because he's up next against Pindar. And Paul London and other Rabbit Tribe bloke come in and bow to Masquerita and like, you are our hope tonight that the tribe progresses on. And Masquerita's like, no. And then the 2 are there just like, we are here to do whatever you wish, sir. And he just walks past them and walks off. And they just go, what you see there is pure divinity. It's like, Paul London's on fucking weed again. Da, ba, da, ba, da, da. So then we get Marty playing with a light. Really being obsessing over Melissa, I know you're playing hard to get. And when we're together, it will be so beautiful. And then start looking at music boxes and I don't know if it's a powder mirror or something that he's stolen and sort of sniffing. And then a poo appears in the little folding mirror. But Mariposa. Which is just remember the rule? Family first. Don't be distracted by her. That's what led to your lose. That's what, has led to your bad performance. I'm facing Phoenix tonight. And, when I win, it's me versus you in the next round. So, just be carefully warned when I beat your ass next week. And they slap the shit out of each other. Like, okay. And he's still obsessing over her. As we get to Pindar versus Masquerita Sagrada. Which, considering it's basically midget versus normal wrestler, they put on a pretty damn good match. Especially because I think the term is Masquerita Sagrada slap the bitch! Because he just went hell to town on bloody Cobra Moon in this match. But eventually, Pindar overpowers him. It was sort of like I'm trying to think. He picked him up for a suplex and just basically lifted him up and sort of slammed him down.
Right.
Front of body first. But sort of like in a powerbomb position.
An Orange Crush?
Well, yeah, but I guess it didn't involve the knees. He just slammed him straight onto the mat.
So, Crash Landing, the easy money finish.
I think so, yeah.
Kind of like what Pete Dunne does.
Yeah, because he picked him up and basically just let him just fall straight down sort of face first, but at the same time sort of pulling him down, sort of like holding him by the shoulders and the arms. I don't know. That finish and also the one that Marty did, I'm not entirely sure what it was, because Matt Stryker was like, that's a finish. Yeah, like, you're supposed to be a commentator. We're supposed to know what that fucking is.
All I'd have to do would be to see it, and I can't see it right now.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be Pindar versus Cage. Rip Pindar. So finally, Mariposa and Phoenix. Pretty good match for what it's worth. Phoenix gets the win, and then afterwards, Marty comes in from nowhere. Melissa is concerned by this, but Phoenix sees them both off. Even does the corkscrew dive to the outside as well onto both the heels. And Melissa's happy and blows him a kiss as he celebrates with the fans. And then we're told promotional consideration played for by what was it? Something Bagels?
Oh God.
Bayo Bagels or something? I don't know. It's like, well, that's a bit random. I don't think there was like Bagel Boy. I don't know. It was just weird. And then the most important thing happened. Nothing. What the fuck are you doing, Lucha? It doesn't have any impact when Cage isn't fucking murdering people.
This is true.
That was I still think, despite all the weird fucking endings that we've had over the 2 seasons or whatever so far, well, 2.5, the Cage one is the most ludicrous yet. I would argue.
Okay.
Then again, considering some of the matches that are coming up and what could build to them, we might be getting just as much weird shit.
Makes sense.
So yeah. Then again, the real most important news is they're doing more Southpaw Regional Wrestling.
Yeah, they are. It started filming this week, didn't
I
it?
really hope people use this. I can think of like something happening with the Southpaw Regional Wrestling, and they do that shot of when bloody Lance Catamaran's reacting to the bloody Pelvis Wesley.
Right.
thing where he's just like, oh my God. And then they just put that music to it and do the whole like JoJo to be continued thing.
I can't wait.
God.
We will definitely cover that.
KFC, we need more money from you.
Yeah.
So we can have more Southpaw Regional Wrestling.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
That's Lucha Underground for this week. And in chat, Ashley, we now have Heel Cass saying, look, Enzo, you were holding me back. It's my time to shine now. Gotta stay out of my way and cry on 205 Live.
Sorry, Heel Cass, but he might actually make people watch 205 Live.
That's a shoot.
That's the honest situation that we're in. He's actually a character that's recognized by people. If he was on 205 Live and was on Raw, he'd be the only one that's sort of on the right fucking shows.
Agreed. So, Ashley.
Although if he takes the title of fucking Tozawa, fuck off.
Nah, that's not happening. What is happening, Ashley, is we're going to go over to the world of What Culture Pro Wrestling.
Oh, this shit is bananas. BANANAS. Oh, built to destroy last Friday. Man. So we open up with Gabriel Kidd versus Shea Samuels, with apparently Ryan Devlin back as ring announcer after his. So I think he did the ring announcing for the first show like a year ago and whatever, but who knows? They had a good match. Probably shorter than it should have been, in all honesty. But yeah, it was a diving kick getting Gabriel Kidd the win. So it wasn't a fluky one, this one, admittedly. So afterwards, Prince Amin shows up and gets the crowd to chant Cockney Wanker at Shea Samuels. And then says he's got some business for Kidd. So he goes back to the servitude match that they had all that last year and says it was all silly, but then takes credit into helping to build Kidd into an international star. And so he rips up the servitude contract and says that he is the internet champion as well as you are, Kidd. Well, yeah, so basically he has the contract and basically says, you know, it's my title just as much as it is yours under this servitude stuff. But then basically rips the contract up and just says, right, that's your deal. And yeah, Gabriel Kidd finally has his own entrance music. Huzzah! Huzzah. So now Primate's looking for weapons, finds baking trays and cheese graters and a screwdriver, and then finds a barbed wire board, because that's a thing. So next up, BT Gunn and Kenny Williams for the World Cup qualification spot that Drew Galloway had to give up. Pretty good match. And amazingly, Tilton World DDT means Kenny Williams is going to August, along with Joe Coffey.
Very interesting.
So BT Gunn is the worst member of Prestige, apparently, or something. So then we got Polo Promotions versus Moss and Slater. So it was interesting. So Slater basically got picked up for a German suplex and was covered. 1, 2, 3, and Polo Promotions win. The thing to note, Moss was the legal man, not Slater. So I guess there's some sort of shenanigans probably going on there. So yeah, well, you know, it wasn't too bad a match, but because of the bloody whatever the shit was going on with the finish, it sort of tempered the thing. It's as if Blompier told WWE to do it better, so they did it, and that was called Money in the Bank. So now it's time for Kaylee Ray and B. Priestley. However, B. Priestley shows up. Apparently has some crutches on her. And Viper's just in sort of like standard casual attire, not even wrestling gear. And B's just like, I'm injured. No, I can't wrestle. So, of course, here comes Blompier. Because, you know, fuck Plumpy. I'm actually treating him like he actually is Adam Blompier because the graphics tell you that. And they don't want to say Plumpy because it's a fucking embarrassment. I expect that to change eventually if they want to be considered, proper. Or get on Twitch, because we'll get to that in a minute. So basically, he basically says, okay, if you can't wrestle, Viper will wrestle in your place. So it's Kaylee Ray and Viper. I have no problem with this. This is ICW, motherfuckers. So the interesting stuff here, B tried to interfere to sort of cause distractions, but it didn't have any factor. And then eventually she goes for it again, goes to hit Kaylee Ray with a crutch, but instead hits Viper with the crutch. Kaylee Ray rolls her up. 1, 2, 3. And Kaylee Ray is the new WCPW Women's Champion. So basically, because of by default, Nixon Newell's got the title back. Except she's called Kaylee Ray. Because Mae Young. God damn it. So yeah, and then afterwards, it was interesting. Viper shoved B down like, what the hell are you doing? And then pulled her back up. So it was like, they teased dissent, but then it was just like, yeah, we swerved you. So that was a nice little touch. So Joe Coffey is ready for his mystery opponent. And of course, it's Moose. Moose. And the great thing is, of course, they went for the hotel room card spot and everything. Also, Coffey did a Superman punch.
I'm not surprised. He's done that before, though.
Yeah, but it's just like Joe Coffey is the Roman Reigns. Except people like Joe Coffey. Shoot!
Very true.
So eventually, Moose gets the win with a game changer. Good match. Good match, I'd argue, with that. Then, of course, we get Davey Richards versus Jay Lethal. This match was really good. Lethal won with a lethal injection, but This was just sort of like back in the day when they actually wrestled each other in Ring of Honor. It's just like, yeah, this is good shit. More of this, please. Can Davey Richards be fired from Impact Wrestling, please? Please? And then, interestingly, Bloody Drake shows up and attacks Lethal. So, yes, they actually continued on the storyline from when it happened 12 months ago, when Drake attacked Lethal then. That's weird. So, next up, Prospect versus Swords of Essex. Lucas Archer's last match, because he's having to take time off to heal a knee injury. Swords of Essex do an early attacking and everything, and they have a pretty good match themselves. Perhaps it was a little tad long. So yeah, basically, Archer was about to tap to the sharpshooter, but Gracie stopped him. But then Gracie got taken out, and Ospreay put in a single leg crab instead, and Archer had to tap. It is worth noting, though, that from what I saw, there was at least one, if not two spots that were big spots that weren't even caught by the cameras, or they weren't on the right angle for if they were being shot. They went to the wrong angles. Whatever. But, that's why ITV Wrestling didn't pick them, apparently. So afterwards, there's a thank you Prospect chant, and they go to the stage, and bloody Gracie's just like, oh, it's not our time, it's my time. And he swings Archer around to go and throw him into the video screen, only they hug it out. Only for Gracie to basically lay out Archer with an unprettier. So then he went to the ringside, picked up his jacket, ripped the tape off, and it wasn't a Prospect jacket. It was a Gracie jacket. So there's your build-up for when they have the replay in 12 months' time or whatever. So now it's time for Primate versus Jimmy Havoc. The really impressive thing is WCPW actually acknowledge Jimmy Havoc won Tournament of Death, which is a fair point. Bloody Kennedy gets involved because I guess he's still. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, Kennedy was trying to stop Primate from using a steel chair on Havoc. So it was like, there's sort of like weird stuff going on.
Sounds like it.
Also, a birthday cake was involved. Or something. Who knows? Spears through tables, Uranagis through chairs. And then we got a barbed wire ironing board.
Nice.
Which Havoc gets power bombed on. And that's enough. Primate is the hardcore champ. And Havoc put over Primate and wished him good luck as a rematch. I'm guessing is somewhere on the way. Because Jimmy Havoc has nothing else to do. Thanks, ITV. Thanks, 5-Star Wrestling. You wazzocks. So next up, we got Kirby walking in on Blompier, staring at a picture of Prince Amin. That's a thing. So basically, Kirby's still got his title shot, apparently. That he got from that, was it the Magnificent Seven a show or two back?
Yes.
And it's in a pink briefcase. I wonder where they got that idea from. So then El Ligero has a black mask on and everything. And then Hendry basically does the promo for El Ligero and basically asks for the briefcase to be put on the line, which happens. And, you know, pretty good match. And Ligero kicks Kirby low and hits a C4L. Well, at least that's what I think happened. That's what the commentary said. Again, the camera angle didn't happen. Good job, guys. So I'm guessing that means El Ligero has the briefcase.
Sounds like it.
Have we worked out what the angle is, guys?
Methinks Ligero might be going rogue.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Beats Hendry and Ligero becomes champion. Somewhere.
I can see that.
So they're about to prep for the main event, only for a masked cameraman to show up that beats down the ring announcer, and the masked man reveals himself to be Stevie Aaron, who is now part of the Prestige.
Adam, you are not Vince Russo. You are not Kevin Sullivan. Don't try and retread classic NWO stuff, because you are not going to replicate it, and you're not going to top it. Just a word of advice.
The great thing is that Stevie's even like mocking all the fans, saying, one fall and everything. So the stupid thing is, because that's getting annoying because I'm hearing it everywhere. It was only meant to be a fucking Progress Wrestling and ICW thing. And now it's on every promotion.
Right.
So the fact that he's mocking it, it's like, wait, am I supposed to like him? This heel group I'm supposed to be a fan of? What? So basically what comes into the factor here is the pink briefcase. Because Ligero goes to use it but gets pole driven. And Hendry smashes it in Rampage's head. So Hendry puts on the Hendry lock. The ref does the old arm drop 1, 2, 3 stuff, and Hendry wins in a main event that felt like it went perhaps 10 minutes or so, possibly. So yeah, this is the problem. They had 10 matches on this show.
Oh my God.
3-hour window. Stuff was going to get cut short.
Right.
And then the fans started chanting bullshit. And then they started throwing their beers into the ring.
This is where this happened.
Hendry dodged one. Ligero got hit. I think they were plastic cups.
Either way, still,
Yeah,
you shouldn't
either
do that.
way, no. And, the really important thing is apparently WCPW is attracting the cunts. Because I haven't seen that in Progress. I haven't seen that in ICW. I haven't seen that in Fight Club. Oh, wait, I haven't seen that in any promotion I can think of. Rightfully so. A statement was put out, whether it was from Adam or anybody else, whichever one person put it out for WCPW. They have every right to go at them. And the great thing is they said in the statement, oh, well, we've got cameras recording everything, so you're probably on film doing it, so you probably won't be welcome again. Knowing all the luck we have, they haven't got the fucking footage because the production crew was shit. Who knows? But yeah, we end a solidly okay pay-per-view with something not very okay, which is a shame. In terms of other stuff, nothing's been added. Basically, you've still got the German leg of the World Cup happening next weekend, July 2nd. Then the following weekend, you've got the Japan qualifying in association with Rev Pro. And then in a month, we've got the final qualifiers, the US one and the rest of the world. Which have still got to be finalized and everything.
All right. And as Enzo and Cass keep battling in chat right now, Ashley, we're moving on to MMA and what's going on with UFC right now.
Not just that today. Not just that.
Hence why I called it MMA this time.
Big weekend. We've got 2 shows, 2 different promotions. Before I get to that, though, go through the news because arguably that was probably more important, really, this week. So it's now been made official that Mauro Ranallo is doing the commentary for McGregor versus Mayweather in 2 months. Along with Al Bernstein and Paulie Malignaggi doing basically the color commentary. And then the usual guys will be doing the interviews and the scoring and everything as well. So basically the normal sort of Showtime crew, really. So now we get to sort of the not good news. So one of the UFC Hall of Famers and a former welterweight champ, Matt Hughes, was in a nasty accident. I think it was late Thursday, may have been early Friday, in Raymond, Illinois. Basically, Hughes was driving his pickup truck, apparently to sort of help a friend or something that was in trouble. And when he crossed the railroad tracks, he moved directly in front of an oncoming train and had to be airlifted to hospital and everything. And he's believed to have suffered head trauma. Since then, it's now come through that basically they're working with the Triumph Over Tragedy Foundation on how to approach his care because of the head trauma that he's had and everything. Yeah, they're still investigating what actually happened with the truck accident, but yeah, best wishes certainly to him and his family with that situation. The interesting thing to note as well, he can apparently squeeze hands and whatever, but there seems to be some sort of connection and everything, even though his eyes are closed. So I'm a little bit concerned by that. We'll have to see. Chris Cyborg versus Megan Anderson is now happening at the July 29th UFC show, the pay-per-view. Basically, Jermaine Durandame has been stripped of the belt. She's saying she wasn't told or anything. And they've said, we knew the whole idea was for Cyborg to basically face whoever it was, be it Holm or Randame. So that's a bit awkward. We'll get to Holly next because, man, there's some weird shit with that. Now we go back to some more sad news. Tim Hague, who has fought in the UFC before, has passed away this week at the age of only 34. He basically was in a boxing match with Adam Braidwood, who I believe is a CFL, so that'd be the Canadian Football League talent. Had a boxing match in Edmonton on Friday. The thing I have real concern about is apparently Hague had been knocked down 6 times in the fight, and the fight got finished in the second round.
I'm pretty sure in boxing there's a 3 knockdown rule.
Yeah.
In which case, how the shit was he knocked down 6 times and the match wasn't over after the third?
Yeah, that's a tad bit suspect.
Unless it was at this, the bell when the third knockdown happened. So who knows? So yeah, basically since 2014 he's had 11 MMA fights, 6-5 record. Before that, he had a 1-4 record during the 2009 to 2011 period. And also was 3-0 in World Series of Fighting. So yeah, condolences to his family on that. I'm a little concerned as to how that happened, but who knows? Relating to boxing still, but I think this is big considering it's Espen. ESPN is actually going to be having Manny Pacquiao's next fight, and it's not going to be on pay-per-view either. So that's a bit weird. Apparently, it's going to be in Brisbane, Australia as well. Jeff Horn's country, I think, which is going to get possibly 55,000 people because it's Pacquiao. It should be the biggest attendance for a boxing match in Australia. There's other stuff as well. It's only a 3-match live show, but yeah, that's happening a week. That's basically happening next week. The only problem is it's happening at the same time as New Japan. Fuck you, bye.
Yeah, we kind of have something we have to take care of there.
And again, depending when the New Japan stuff finishes and everything, because if it's 8 Eastern and the boxing starts at 10 Eastern, if it goes 4 hours and everything with the New Japan stuff, You might be able to catch the main event, but probably wouldn't be watching anything else. So because of that, Megan Anderson now facing Cyborg, basically that means she isn't part of the Invicta show that's happening in mid-July. So they're setting up some other fighters now instead, because that's really getting awkward. Fedor Emelianenko, who's obviously part of the Bellator show that's happening this weekend, invited Donald Trump to watch the fight. I think he's busy. Bellator have also announced that Mauro Ranallo and Jimmy Smith will be announcing the entire show, and that Mike Goldberg will actually be hosting the show from the main desk, and that Jem Brown will be hosting the Spike fights with Brendan Schaub and Josh Thompson. So the big three of Mauro, Jimmy, and Mike are only doing the pay-per-view stuff, by the looks of it. And I'm keeping an eye on what the other shit is. Is it bananas? Bananas? Probably not. And also regarding McGregor and Mayweather, apparently McGregor's a free agent in terms of apparel sponsorship, so he doesn't have to wear Reebok against Mayweather because money. And also, in a more positive news, the funeral expenses for Tim Hague got reached on GoFundMe within 24 hours of it being set up.
That's good.
So, yeah. So, in terms of what's went down and what's to come, an interesting show in Singapore, I would argue. So on the Fight Pass stuff, Lucy Pudilova beat Ji Young Kim on unanimous decision in the women's bantamweight. The flyweight match between Naoki Inoue and Cole's John De Tomas got changed to a catchweight because De Tomas was 5 pounds over. Thankfully, Inoue beat him. Unanimous decision as well. It went 30-26 on all three cards, so there's a 10-8 round in there easily. Russell Doan beat Kwang Ho Kwak with a late first round knockout. Li Jiangling beat Frank Camacho. Unanimous decision, but it was like 29-27, 29-27, 28-27. So that close. Hulka Sasaki beat Justin Soggins with a second round rear naked choke submission. Alex Caceres beat Roland Dye after the doctor basically stopped it at the end of the second round, after assessing it in between the rounds. Early TKO for Walt Harris beating Cyril Asker in the co-main for the prelims. And then the headline act was just John Tuck beating Takanori Gomi with a rear naked choke submission about a minute into the fight, give or take. So with the main card, Rafael Dos Anjos beat Tarek Safadine by unanimous decision. Colby Covington destroyed Jong Hyun Kim. The weird thing is the judges' things were all over the place. One judge gave it 30-27. Another gave it 30-26. One gave it 30-25. Despite the fact that I only remember Kim going down once, possibly, if that. So basically, that means there's weird 10-8s going on with some of the judges. So I don't know what's going on there. Marcian Tybura beat Andrei Arlovsky in a close unanimous decision. I think it was a 29-27, a 29-28, and a 28-27. And then Holly Holm versus Betch Correa. This was interesting because neither wanted to beat the shit out of each other. Which led to the referee basically going,
You need to beat the shit out of each other.
because the crowd were booing, the Singapore crowd were pissed. And then the third round happened. So we're about a minute in. And Betch decides to just put her arms down and say, come on, I'll give you a free shot. Boom, kick to the head. Boom, punch. It's all over. So the crowd are just like, is this a fix? You know, in the third, your ass goes down. We're adapting Pulp Fiction. Like, what? Anyway, so yeah. Weird main event, arguably. In terms of the bonuses and everything, Holly Holm for her gimme, I guess, for her win, got 50,000. Also, Sasaki on the prelim card got 50,000. And Fighter for Night also went to the prelims with the Li Jiangling Frank Camacho match. About Camacho, he only came on the card I'm trying to think. The show was June 17th. He got added to the card June the 6th.
Wow.
So on 10 days' notice, he had a match of the night which earned him $50,000. I don't know what his actual pay was because they don't disclose it. You only sort of get it with certain markets like Vegas or New York or whatever. But, you know, for a last-minute stand-in and to have a pretty damn good match and get $50,000 because you had a damn good match, that's not a bad debut.
Not at all.
I think even though he lost, there's going to be a lot of people interested in wanting him in their match in the welterweight division to basically prove whether he's got something or whether he basically just got lucky against Jing Lang. So yeah, you know, good on him for the last minute 50 grand. So this weekend, it's weird how I have to talk about UFC first because it ain't the most important. Even though it's a somewhat interesting card, I would argue. So UFC are going to be on Saturday in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, for the first time since their debut in Oklahoma back in 2009. So it's been quite a while. So we'll go through the full card for this because it's somewhat abbreviated to some extent. So there's only 3 prelim Fight Pass events. In the light heavyweights, Josh Stransbury versus Jeremy Kimball, Tony Martin versus Johnny Case in the lightweights, and then in the featherweights, Jared Gordon versus Michelle Quinones. Then Fox Sports 2's prelims will feature in the lightweights Devin Powell versus Darren Horcher. Next to the women's strawweights for Carla Esparza versus Manya Moros. Vitor Miranda in the middleweights faces Marvin Vettori in the main event for the prelims as Clay Guida versus Eric Koch in the lightweight division. And then with the main card, we're opening with BJ Penn versus Dennis Silva. So BJ's back after a while out in the featherweights. Then welterweight action with Tim Means versus Alex Garcia. Then light heavyweight action, Joaquim Christiansen versus Dominic Reyes. Then your women's strawweight bout with Felice Herrig versus Justine Kish. Your co-main in the middleweights, we've got Tim Botch versus Johnny Hendricks. And your main event for Oklahoma, Michael Chiesa versus Kevin Lee. So not too bad a card. and then Friday. Because it isn't just Ring of Honor. It's also Bellator. You bastards. God damn it. Actually, no, I take it back. I got all the dates wrong. UFC Sunday, Bellator Saturday. Panic over. I just realised June 24th is Saturday, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I should know that because it's on fucking banner of Mauro Ranallo's thing that I keep trying to refresh and see if he's announced what he's saying. God damn it. So this is a complicated card. So we've got the prelims on Bellator.com, followed by Bellator 180, which technically is what the show is, on Spike, followed by the pay-per-view, which is now being described as Bellator NYC. Because, of course, Bellator's in the garden. So they're obviously charging because they think they can make this into a thing. Which, considering some of the people that they're trying to get, certainly already in terms of presentation with Goldberg and Moro, could be interesting. So for the Bellator.com prelims, we've got Bradley DeSia versus Nate Greb, Matt Rizzo versus Sergio Da Silva, John Salgado versus Hugh McKenna, Jerome Mickle versus Anthony Giacchina, and Ryan Couture versus Haim Ghazali. I'm pretty sure that's Randy's kid. I'm guessing.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Then the Bellator 180 card, the sort of main, I guess, for people that don't want to pay. Not too bad a card. Heather Hardy versus Alice Yauga. The Gracies are back. It's going to be Naaman Gracie taking on Dave Marfoni. James Gallagher versus Shinzo Machida. And the main event for free is a light heavyweight title match with Phil Davis defending against Ryan Bader. So they're putting a title match not on the pay-per-view. Plaudits to that because there's another 2 coming. So the pay-per-view stuff, we start with the lightweights with Aaron Pico versus Zach Freeman. Might be a number 1 contender match considering what will be coming later on the line. Next, the welterweight title will be defended by Douglas Lima taking on Lorenz Larkin. Then that lightweight title I hinted at. Next up, with Michael Chandler defending against Brent Primus. And then your heavyweight co-main is the return of Fedor taking on Matt Mitrione. And then the main event itself, in the light heavyweights, Chael Sonnen versus Wanderlei Silva. Big stuffy stuff. Probably the only reason I'll be watching is because Mauro Ranallo is doing fucking commentary. Yes!
There you go.
Although there is something else that's happening that night, so I might have to have... That's the advantage now of having a computer that works. I can actually have one on the computer and one on the fucking tablet. Dual screen experience. Yes.
Welcome to my world, Ashley.
Yes, probably.
So we're going to move on from the world of mixed martial arts to what's going on in NXT.
Oh, good. You can talk about that and I can get some drinks. Spoilers. It's the hottest day, or hottest, I think, June day over here in 40-something years, apparently. So, yeah, I'm fucking boiling. I'm getting a fan. No, I don't mean you, heel Cass or Enzo's tier.
So real quick before we get started with the actual show, VIP packages have gone out for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. So the TakeOver Brooklyn VIP package includes a VIP suite during TakeOver at the Barclays Center with visits from NXT superstars, photo ops, a group photo on the entrance ramp, and VIP access to the merch stand before the doors open, a collectible poster, and you're going to get all photos emailed to you after TakeOver is over. And a limited amount of the packages are currently available. So if you need more information, you can check out nxttickets.ticketforce.com, and you're going to be able to get more information on the VIP packages. So yeah, it's definitely something, if you're interested, it's available for you to pick up. So that's Saturday, August 19th for NXT TakeOver. Of course, August 20th is SummerSlam. It's going to be another long pop weekend. And I will get you that price point here. It's going to be $500 right now. So if you want to pick that up, $500 for that. On top of that, we have more NXT to mention as well. The tapings at Full Sail are coming your way one more time. So let me bring that up here. So Full Sail tapings completely sold out this Friday night, June 23rd. Completely sold out. If you didn't get a ticket, my advice to you, follow Full Sail on Twitter, and they do sometimes give away contests to get tickets, general admission tickets. Now, this also moves us up to the next set of tapings, which is going to be on July 12th. It's a Wednesday night. It's going to be the next time they're going to be at Full Sail. And then on the 14th and the 13th, they're going to be taping the Mae Young Classic Women's Tournament. The packages are completely sold out right now for the package that includes both days, and one that includes the 13th and one that includes the 14th. And then, of course, we're back on the Performance Center on July 24th. More information, again, NXT tickets on ticketforce.com. And then after that, the last that we have that's of importance is the TakeOver Brooklyn packages. So that's more NXT information. I just want to bring that up real quick before we got started with the actual NXT recap. So this show starts off with a great video package. As always, the main event is the Battle of the Heroes Eventually Die. That's right, Chris Hero versus Tommy End. It's Cassius Ohno against Aleister Black is going to be your main event tonight. And yes, a million times yes. Speaking of yes, a million times yes, Peyton Royce starts off the show. She's got Billie Kay in her corner and facing off against Ember Moon. Good match for what it was here. I enjoyed it, as always. Peyton got escaped by way of Billie Kay and when she was going for the Eclipse. So Ember dives on the outside, and Peyton ends up hitting her version of the Widow's Peak for a near fall. Peyton runs on a high back elbow. Ember with an Ocean Cyclone suplex into the buckle, and the Bad Moon Rising or the Eclipse, depending on who you want to call your match, gets the win. We see Hero in the back. Here comes the day with Tommy one more time and says, "I apologize for taking everything out on you. I've been struggling lately." And I was like, "I know we've been down this road a billion times. We're not done, and we can turn these around." So we get the next match. It is the Ely brothers taking on Eric Young and Alexander Wolf representing Sanity. So Eric Young hits the Young Blood, the backdrop suplex and a reverse neck breaker to get the win after a jumping kick from Alexander Wolf. Just a typical, just quick squash here for the Ely brothers. We showed what happened last week with Asuka and Nikki Cross, and that's going to lead to a last woman standing match next week. We get a vignette for Sonya Deville. I still don't care. This gimmick doesn't work for me. And she's going to be facing off against the former Rachel Ellering, which is now known as Rachel Evers. So just a quick match here. Sonya wins with the Kimura and gets the tap out quickly. We get video footage of Roderick Strong walking in with his wife and kid during Bobby Roode's photo shoot. Roode was making some jokes at their expense and basically said, "If you want a real man, come over to my side." And Roddy just jumps him. And in 2 weeks, we get Roddy against Roode for the NXT Championship. Again, life is good. Speaking of life is good, the main event, Chris Hero versus Tommy End. This match was what you would expect from these two, balls to the wall as always, and a very stiff encounter between these two, working very tight. That's the right terminology here. Definitely hitting people as hard as possible in very safe places, and a lot of really great back and forth with Ono hitting the Orange Crush, and he sets up for the rolling elbow, and Aleister Black gets the Black Mass out of nowhere and gets the win. Really good match.
Out of nowhere.
Yes. Johnny Depp would approve. And yeah, this was good. And they gave it a lot of time to develop too. They gave it almost 14 minutes, and it was worth every second. So if you get a chance to check this out, I would watch it as soon as possible. NXT continues every single week to have a diamond in the rough among a bunch of squash matches.
It seems to be.
Yes.
It looks like that's going to be continuing Friday. Because Friday, I believe, is when they're doing the tapings, isn't it?
We already discussed that, actually. Yeah, tapings are completely sold out at Full Sail. We've already discussed that. We talked about the next Full Sail tapings in July. The Mae Young Classic completely sold out. And then I mentioned the TakeOver Brooklyn VIP packages just went on sale, too.
Yeah, but did we mention the matches?
I don't have them.
Well, the one that you said is the one in 2 weeks.
Right.
I think.
Rude and Roddy.
Yeah. But it appears...
Last woman standing.
Yeah, the last woman standing match as well.
Yep. We talked about that. Absolutely.
That looks interesting.
I wish I
Another
could be
NXT
there.
news. Kimberly is still called Kimberly, no matter what you try and fucking do, WWE.
Yeah, that's how we roll here on the Popcast Network.
The bastards. Trying to see if there's any other NXT news. I guess the one bit is apparently Serena Deeb may be part of the Mae Young tournament.
Yeah, it sounds like she's gonna have like a redemption story, is what they're saying. They're building towards.
Oh, it was TNA news when we forgot to cover it. You heard about the big thing for Slammiversary, didn't you?
I mean, if we're talking about the EYFBO opponents, we broke that a couple weeks ago.
No. Dos Caras is going to be appearing.
Dos Caras is in Patron's corner, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we know. I guarantee you Patron's winning the title.
Mm-hmm.
He is the flag bearer of Impact Wrestling right now in every way possible.
Yep.
I'm happy for him. I really am, honestly. It's nice he finally found a place.
In case you're interested, Kimberly is now going by the name of Abby Lave, I think it's. Might be Lave.
Hold on, I got this.
Hasn't been said. Yeah, but it depends how you pronounce it. Could be Lave, could be Lave. Could be Leaf. Just spelt wrong.
Lath. I don't know how it's pronounced. Like you said, I don't know how it's pronounced either, but it's Abby Lath.
We'll find out on, well, not Friday. Whenever Friday's tapings get aired, I guess.
We'll talk about Friday. We'll talk about the Full Sail tapings as always next Wednesday here on the Wednesday Wrestling Podcast.
Yep. I think that's all the NXT stuff that I have.
Yes, and now we go from NXT to another set of 3 letters that we love so much. This is the Go Home Show coming your way to this Friday's Best in the World pay-per-view. Let's talk Ring of Honor.
Sadly, we do this week because I will say, keep in mind, this is Ring of Honor's 300th show.
Yes, it is.
So how do we start it? Silas Young and the Beer City Bruiser versus Bobby Fish and Jay Lethal.
Interesting.
Which is it was sort of a cluster anyway, because obviously Fish and Lethal are just dealing with Young, and Beer City Bruiser is just defending Young. So, certainly a decent match. But keep in mind, this is the 300th special. They went all out on 200. They went all out on 250. 300, Yeah, it's a thing.
500 will be the next one.
So then we've got Jay Briscoe being pissed because of getting misted by Bushi because of Dalton's boys. So that's building to the 6th man.
Yep.
Then we have the boys versus the Kingdom. The Kingdom win basically because they basically attacked the boys before they could even get off the stage and everything. And, you know, they had their chances and all that, but basically one of the boys got shoved off the apron and then the other got hit with a reverse suplex off the second rope, and then Vinny hit the swanton and got the pin. So Jay Briscoe then came to attack the boys, had to be held back by Dalton and then Bully Ray and Mark as well. And they're certainly building the Kingdom up. They're building Jay and the boys up. And interestingly, the reverse suplex off the second rope, you know who does that move?
Ultimo Guerrero.
This is correct.
Turns out he was learning shit in CMLL.
They're really trying to build the 6-man tag belts to actually mean something.
Too bad.
I say they're succeeding. They're trying.
So, Punish Martinez apparently is up next, taking on Joey Diesel Daddy Ego. Daddy Ego? Daddy Ego?
I've heard different people pronounce it different ways. Daddy Ego is what I've heard.
Daddy Go.
Daddy Ego, literally.
Daddy Go. Daddy Go. Dead ass Daddy Go.
Oh, Ethan Page on line 1 for you, Ashley.
I ain't gonna lie, but that guy's got a big daddy ego.
Oh, God. Only on the Popcast Network and only at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
At least here.
So basically, yeah, Punishment 1 with the South of Heaven choke slam. Cheeseburger and Will came to the ring for the save, got taken out. Then Jay White made the proper save, and Martinez sneaked off because he landed on his feet from a clothesline over the top rope and whatever. So I guess that's a thing, question mark? So the main event, Chaos of Ospreay, Gato, and Goto versus Tanahashi, Daniels, and Kazarian. So they then announce. The interesting thing is for this match, they randomly have Kevin Kelly there as well as Cody. So, okay. They announced that Kushida will be defending against Marty Scurll at Best in the World.
Exactly.
So Ospreay accidentally hit Goto with an Oscutter, and then Tanahashi hit Gator with a high fly flow. Daniels hit the bet moonsault ever, got the pinfall victory, but then Daniels spat at Cody at the commentary table, got attacked by Hangman Page. Page attacked both Daniels and Kazarian, and Cody hit the Angel's wings on Daniels and posed with the belt.
Interesting.
So it felt just like a generic show. It built to the pay-per-view, sure, but that didn't feel like a 300th episode spectacular. In all honesty.
Cody standing tall over Daniels at the end of the show, holding the title in the air, makes me think that there is a slight possibility Daniels may retain on Friday.
Yeah, swerving us all. So, the pay-per-view this Friday. This is the preview, I guess.
Certainly is.
The big thing to note is there's actually, for the live crowd, as well as probably the Women of Honor YouTube channel, or the Ring of Honor, Women of Honor YouTube playlist or whatever, I will be featuring Gianna Pratto and Mandy Leon versus Sumi Sakai and Chris Wolf of Stardom fame. So she's coming over to basically take over Shimmer and Shine and all these other promotions that are going to be having shows as part of the female fight season, which, yes, WWE is completely ripping off by having a match during female fight season as well. God damn it. That should be a good one. So, yeah, the key thing about this is this is the 3rd anniversary of Ring of Honor back on pay-per-view as well. So if I remember, the first pay-per-view was Steen winning. No, it couldn't have been 2013. Well, no, actually, it would be 2014. Cole, was it?
That sounds right.
Or was it Lethal? I'm trying to remember back to 2014's Best in the World.
Hold on.
Damn it, Wiki.
Okay, good. For 2014?
Yeah, that would be the first pay-per-view.
I got this. It was Michael Elgin defeating Adam Cole for the ROH World title.
Oh, yeah, and then nobody gave a shit about Elgin being champion because Ring of Honor fans are sometimes stupid cunts.
Steen was on that show, though, so you're not far off.
I remembered him. Was that part of the whole scum angle?
Yep.
That's why I remember it. Oh. So, yeah. There's a special meet and greet happening before if you are going to the actual show featuring the Bucks and Bully Ray and Lethal and Kushida and Ultimo Guerrero and El Terrible. And then the TV tapings have all of them, as well as Silas Young, Dalton Castle, the Briscoes, Marty Skull, and Cody as well. But in terms of the card, we've got the Search and Destroy versus Rebellion losing team must disband deal. I honestly don't know which.
It could go either way, honestly.
The Kingdom of Vinny Marsaglia and Matt Taven face El Terrible and Ultimo Guerrero. Yay. In a strap match, it'll be Kazarian versus Page. Silas Young one-on-one with Jay Lethal. And then your 4 title matches. The 6-man tag belts defended by Bully Ray and the Briscoes against Dalton and the Boys. The Young Bucks put the tag titles up for grabs against War Machine. Kushida faces Marty Scurll in his rematch for the TV title. And then Daniels versus Cody. What makes me think we are going to have... All I need to say is 3 words and Owen might mark out, considering what we know about this individual. Part of me wonders, considering, you know, we just had the longest day and a season just started. Is Friday night going to be the start of the summer of Cody?
Well, you know.
Considering, you know, he doesn't have a contract with anybody.
Nope. He does not.
Even though he sort of does with Impact, but at the rate that I think we're going, Cody and Brandy are going to be not signed to TNA very soon.
That conversation, that's already been taken care of. Cody left Impact. He only did the one-shot tapings that I saw.
What about Brandy?
I'm not exactly sure, honestly. She hasn't been used for a while, so my guess is she's done. I guess we'll see what happens next week on
Or are they actually going to use her as a ring announcer?
No.
Makes sense.
I mean, they've got David Penzer now.
True. Well, they could have Scott Steiner.
Yeah.
There are TV tapings on the Saturday, but there aren't any matches confirmed for that because obviously a lot of it is going to be affected by what happens on the pay-per-view. So it should be interesting. Also, looking ahead, I think they've got TV tapings July 29th. They've got the UK shows August 18th, 19th, and 20th. And then I think another set of TV tapings August 26th, from what I remember. Then the next pay-per-view section will be September 22nd and 23rd. Which is going to be automatically complicated, both because Owen's going to be busy.
Yep.
And I'm going to be busy with the Eurogamer EGX convention.
So as always, Death Before Dishonor, sadly, is going to be a pay-per-view we will not be covering here on the network because of circumstances beyond either of our controls.
Yeah. Still means we'll review the shit out of it on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Or hell, if Raw's that fucking bad because football will be back on, we might just incorporate into a Monday show as well.
That might help me out, honestly, given the fact that that's about the time that we actually, no, Wednesday's good because that 24th is going to be the next day for Horror Nights. Yeah, we could do that.
We'll have to see. And then the last one they've got listed on their website is October the 20th, which again I think is TV tapings.
Back at the ECW arena for TV tapings.
No other live events are confirmed yet, but they could get easily added over the next few weeks and months and whatever. So,
like I mentioned at the beginning of our show, if you didn't hear, the Bullet Club merchandise will be available at Hot Topic countrywide very soon. I know it's starting to trickle out. It's supposed to be out in stores by the middle of July, and the same with their online store as well. As of right now, we have Bullet Club shirts, Elite shirts, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Cody, and Marty Scurll is going to have a limited run of his Villain Club shirts. Yes, more stuff that I'm going to be spending my work paychecks on.
More swag.
So yes, that will be happening. So we've gone through all the companies. We've got some housekeeping to do with some results and some news in a few minutes. But right now, let's move on to what happened at Kazuta Road and the road to the G1.
The thing is, I don't want to say spoilers, but not a lot, because it's basically building up to bloody nothing.
It's a go-home show for a show that's not ready to happen yet.
It's a go-home show for America. So the other complicated thing, because I've looked through the cards and I think I've copied them down. There's some interesting matches happening because Cody's busy. So in terms of the only title match that happened, Sanada, Evil, and Bushi retained over Taguchi, Robinson, and Kushida. And of course, afterwards, Bushi declared he's capturing the World Junior belt from Kushida on the 27th. And Yoshihashi, as well, in an earlier match, said he'll capture the Never belt off Suzuki and take out Suzuki Gun and once and for all. The big thing that came from the show, though, was the G1 Climax roster.
It's very intriguing.
Keep in mind, we've still got to know the group pairings and the matches and when they're going to be, which will be announced this coming week.
Right?
But before all that, we actually have the list. Once again, we're 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. We're back to 20, so we've got 10 in each group, whichever it is. So no particular order and no particular groupings. The order that they announced them were Tanahashi, Togi Makabe, Michael Elgin, Kazuchika Okada, Hiroki Goto, Tomohiro Ishii, Toru Yano, Yoshihashi, Kenny Omega, Bad Luck Fale, Tamatonga, Tetsuya Naito, Sanada, Evil, Satoshi Kojima, Yuji Nagata, which from what I remember, this is going to be Nagata's last ever G1.
Yep.
So he's going to lose and then suddenly win against Taichi. Oh, wait, he isn't in this. Sorry, it's going to be that much like Liger, I'm thinking. Juice Robinson, Minoru Suzuki, and then the two interesting ones. The young craftsman from Britain, Zack Sabre Jr. So, yeah, the guy that's normally involved in not heavyweight stuff is going to be possibly taking on, I don't know, Kenny Omega or Tanahashi or Okada. Jesus. And then, of course, Kota Ibushi. Part of me sort of predicts that one of the Hurricane Hall shows is going to have Kenny Omega versus Kota Ibushi in the group stages.
Yep. They have to.
Realistically, I think those are the only ones that I can probably see they're going to be in a group with each other. The rest, who knows?
That is a fair
I think
point.
they're going to keep apart Omega and Okada because it wouldn't make sense to do it again.
Here's my question, Ashley. Why is Cody not in the G1?
He's got other bookings.
That makes sense.
Plus, if he's going... That's the weird thing. Looking at this now, I'd honestly say he probably could be Ring of Honor... Sorry, New Japan United States champion. But he isn't in that tournament.
I'm at the point now with the dissension they have basically been teasing. Obviously, everything that's been done on television, not the stuff that's done in Being the Elite, because it's completely different in that situation. With the tension of Cody coming out and trying to throw the towel in with the match against Okada, I really think it's a possibility that we could have Cody beat Okada and then have Kenny win the G1 and then have Cody versus Kenny.
Yeah.
It's possible. And maybe
True.
maybe the swerve is Daniels retains and then we see Cody win the IWGP championship instead. I know it's tough, isn't it?
I don't, because if that happens, Cody will get murdered.
Oh, I know he will. Absolutely.
That's my only issue. Because he was onto a good thing.
He's doing fine.
The
right
thing
now.
is, fuck the revival will still be funny regardless of what.
You're absolutely correct.
So yeah, coming up this weekend. So the weird schedule. So Kizuna Road is going to be having Okada and Gedo versus Davey Boy Smith Jr. and El Desperado. While Yoshihashi is facing Minoru Suzuki. for the Never Openweight title. The following night, Tuesday, both these shows at Kurikan Hall, by the way, Kushida defends the junior heavyweight title against Bushi. But the main event sort of before that, if you classify it as that, is Okada, Goto, Gedo, and Yoshihashi versus Suzuki Gun of Suzuki, Davey Boy Smith Jr., Taichi, and El Desperado. So, yes, Okada's preparing for the Bullet Club's Cody by taking on Suzuki Gun. Eh?
It's very random.
Who knows? So that's what's coming up this weekend. And, of course, this time next week, we'll be talking about Long Beach.
Yeah, we will.
I'm getting hyped for that on the Saturday. Also, in unrelated news, be careful with your bloody squirty cream, because apparently one's exploded and killed a woman.
I'm so confused.
So am I. Apparently, this thing exploded and sort of, I guess the head part that exploded went straight sort of into her heart region.
Oh, God.
And killed her instantly. Domestic accident. Yeah, apparently the siphon just exploded. Oh, wow. So by the sounds of it, the siphon that exploded, there's like the air capsule thing, and that might have acted. Wow. I'm guessing that might have acted as a bullet. Shit, son. Christ. Well, that's a product recall. Fuck. Meanwhile, in other stuff, fuck. So, I don't think. Hang on, I need to see if Papa Dave has been doing anything. Probably not. So in terms of other news and stuff that has happened that we can talk about, Papa Dave's still waiting. Arguably the big thing to me is Chandler Biggins, aka Chris Bryan, the co-owner of AIW, passed away this week after a bacterial infection. You know, he's sort of been in the hospital for quite a few months. And the condition's gone from good to bad and all over the place. And the one thing I want to quickly bring up, so hopefully the computer won't crash or the power cut won't happen. Kevin Owens put a incredibly great series of tweets up, written on his phone, I guess, on a notepad file or whatever. So I'll just read it out verbatim because I think practically everybody that I can think of that has worked in AIW tweeted some sort of positive stuff.
Exactly.
So this is what Kevin tweeted. I'm sitting here in the arena in Dayton watching everyone get ready for tonight's episode of Smackdown, and I can't help but think of my friend Chris. I'm still reeling from the news of his passing. I feel the need to write about him because I want to make sure that as many people as possible know that last night we lost one of the good ones. I first met Chris, who's known to a lot of people within the industry as Chandler Biggins, in 2013. He and his buddy John Thorne run a great independent promotion in Cleveland, Ohio by the name of AIW. They brought me out for one of their shows, and as I always am when going somewhere I've never been before and meeting people I've never met before, I was pretty reserved and quiet. It usually takes me a while to warm up to people, but I remember liking John and Chris right away. I knew nothing of them personally, but their love and passion for wrestling was palpable. And it made me want to work for them more often immediately. I was fortunate enough to be brought back to AIW multiple times before signing with EA and loved wrestling for them every single time. What I love more was the fact that I made 2 friends there that I would end up keeping in touch with to this very day. Chris and John often gave me credit for helping IW grow and reaching a new audience with my matches. But they deserve credit themselves for rekindling in me a love for indie wrestling. It was getting thinner and thinner as the end of my tenure on the independent scene drew closer. My dream from the start was always to be in the E, and after 15 years on the indies, I was more than ready to move on. Thankfully, WWE came calling and I realized my dream, but getting to perform in AIW and meeting Chris and John lifted my spirits and made me feel like I could still have fun on the indies at the time. I truly can't thank them enough for that. I was lucky enough to see Chris a few times after I signed with the E, and it was also great to be greeted by his big smile and a big-ass hug. That's definitely what I'll miss most. To say Chris loved wrestling, the people in it, and the fans that supported AIW and the industry in general would be a huge understatement. In fact, saying that we lost one of the good guys, like I wrote earlier, is an even bigger understatement. Chris left us way too soon, but seeing the outpouring of love for him from people all over the world linked in some way to wrestling, be it as fans, performers, or something else, has been amazing. I hope that this reaches his mum and brother so that they can see how appreciated he was. My heart goes out for them. I dedicate my performance tonight on Smackdown to the memory of my friend Chris Bryan. Goodbye, Chris. We love you, buddy. Rest well. And tell Dusty I said hi.
Very well said.
Yeah, the other, I mean, I can't even think. I think EC3 did one. Gran Akuma, ACH, Colt Cabana, just practically everybody that has been through the doors there acknowledged the work that they've done over the past number of years, certainly. Obviously, the next AIW show coming up is going to be a pretty fucking big one because it's Absolution. It's their biggest show of the year. So they're going to be doing it in style. I can tell you that.
Absolutely.
In a couple of weeks. I think they actually just had the show this past weekend as well. Well, no, it was last weekend, I think. We covered it last week. Also, new team added to King of Trios, and it's the House of Furies, which is Fire Ant, Solo Darling, and Travis Huckabee, along with the other 5 that we've already talked about. Obviously, we'll go into more detail close to the time because that's still nearly 2 months away. Nice little touch today as well, or in the last couple of days. Triple H came over to London and paid a visit to one of the police officers who was injured in the London Bridge attack a few months back. Charlie Gingo was off duty, ran towards the attackers and tried to stop them. He was wearing a Sami Zayn shirt when the attack happened and presented him with a championship belt. And there was Sami shared it on social media, a nice little video message that he sent to him as well. The thing, though, that did crop up is the interview that Triple H did with Sky Sports to probably hype up who knows what, because most of the stuff that they want you to watch isn't even on the fucking network. Oh, sorry, isn't on Sky, it's only on the network, so who knows? So, yeah, bloody Triple H, regarding the women's Money in the Bank stuff, decided to say, we're still trying to find out if James Ellsworth is 100% a man. In this LGBT acceptance era that we're in right now, that sort of line is certainly the way it was worded should have been thought about before Triple H said it. In all honesty,
I agree completely.
Awkward. TLC pay-per-view is no longer in December.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's switching to October taking the Hell in a Cell spot, by the looks of it, at the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota on October 22nd. Tickets for that go on sale this weekend. Also, there's been some adjustments to Access TV's New Japan stuff. So the episode next Friday, heading into the Long Beach shows, is going to be, instead of 2 1-hour episodes, is going to be 1 2-hour episode, because it's going to feature both the Naito Tanahashi match and the full hour of Okada versus Omega.
Very nice.
So what's going to happen now is they're now going to be airing the Dominion show, or the Dominion Matches show, as a lead-in to the live show with Okada and Cody and all that.
Very interesting.
Also, Access will be airing New Japan matches starting from 8 a.m. Eastern that Saturday, with 12 hours of footage with all the significant match of the year candidates so far in 2017. So I'm guessing Shibata, Suzuki, Kushida and Ospreay possibly.
I'd say so.
All that sort of stuff. The Long Beach show is scheduled from 8 till midnight live. That's 8 Eastern, of course. And it will be covered as a sports event and not as a pro wrestling show. So the only time you get adverts will be during the gaps in between matches. There won't be any adverts during the matches by the looks of it.
Interesting.
Also, there's no hard and fast finish time. So if matches go long, they don't have to cut it down or go long or whatever. They have blocked off till 1 a.m. if they need to. But the plan is for basically after the live show ends, they'll air Wrestle Kingdom 11's Okada versus Omega, and then the replay of Long Beach.
Very useful.
So that sounds promising. And then just having a quick look at the new update from Dave, in case anything's come through. Oh yeah, something that we didn't mention on SmackDown, because that's a thing. Mike and Maria were on the dark segment of SmackDown. So after their pay-per-view debut and all that stuff, they fucking did nothing. I don't get it.
Yeah, me neither.
Jeff Jarrett said that the World of Sport project is now planned to happen in 2018, because they originally tried to rush into it. Also, and I'm expecting Owen's going to watch this, because he clearly must have Netflix, because he kept gushing about, 12 things?
13 Reasons Why. Oh, yeah, I haven't watched. I'm going to start watching Glow. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Glow starts Friday with all episodes available. Positive reviews so far for episodes as well as season, the entire season. Then the big one. Twitch just signed up Wrestle Circus as its promotion.
Yep.
So, yeah, Wrestle Circus now has a Twitch channel. And they also have a subscribe button, which I think already has 1,000 subscribers.
Makes sense.
Over the past 24 hours, because it's only just launched really on the last couple of days. They're showing old material at the minute, as well as actual sort of video games, like some of the people playing. And then if Lever's having some gameplay, they're hosting that. because you can obviously do that on Twitch. They're having a show this Saturday, which we'll get to.
Right.
And they're, because of this new deal being done, they're airing it for free on Twitch. The big thing, though, with it as well is obviously you can sub to the channel. I believe they're saying that the proceeds are basically going help to fund the purchase or rental of the new building that they're going to be based out of, from what I remember. But yeah, the big thing is for this show, obviously on Twitch, you can donate via direct tips or from using bits, which is sort of their currency in order to, donate stuff to people. The big thing with this is you can donate to the promotion itself if you want to, but for this show, they're also giving people the opportunity to use their donations and bits to directly tip the wrestlers that are in action. So let's say, for example, you were a fan of Michael Elgin. You could give him $10 if you wanted to donate that through a tip or 1,000 bits. They've done that before for like esports games,
Right.
and stuff. So the fact that they're actually incorporating that into the wrestling as well is a nice little touch, I would argue.
I'd say so. Good way for the boys to make a lot more money that way.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that works and whether it's good. The other thing I have said, because I did go into the Twitch channel and sort of asked a few questions incognito, even though it's sort of the same name that I'm known as on a lot of stuff. They have said working with Twitch has been a breeze. Twitch has been very responsive and very, communicative and very passionate about this. Thanks, YouTube.
Yeah, they're not really on everybody's Christmas list right now, that's for sure.
WCPW. Rather than, do the live shows on YouTube, why don't you just do them on Twitch? Because it seems like they like wrestling now.
That's a good idea, actually.
Obviously, you can still have pay-per-views, whatever, on your stuff, but if you want somewhere to broadcast the stuff live and have it archived and being able to switch it over to YouTube for the YouTube page or whatever, I'm just saying it's something you might want to think about.
Not a bad idea, honestly.
Considering, how shit YouTube's been over the last few months. I'm saying this and I'm on YouTube, so this channel is now dead.
It's your fault, too.
Yes.
Great.
But it's Snitsky. It wasn't my fault.
Of course.
Flo Sam's been sending out a survey asking people whether they recommend the service to a friend or a colleague.
The answer is no, because it's too fucking expensive.
Oh, wait, did I shoot? Oh, wow. The second set of the Ring of Honor action figures look to be on sale now.
Yep, I saw that.
By the looks of it. Also, interestingly, and we'll get to it in a minute, Evolve have announced that the Sunday show in Queens will be the last time that both the Evolve and the WWN titles will be on the same brand. Or on the same show, I should say, defended. So WWN is going to be on other shows. And Evolve will be on Evolve.
So we have mentioned the ROH figures in the past. Figures Toy Company puts them out. They're the ones that do the really incredible Batman figures. And a bunch of other various wrestling, which we'll get to momentarily. Right now, Series 2 is going to have Red Dragon, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly. Delirious, and Adam Cole.
Mm-hmm.
We also have 2 other selections that are available right now. Where they're still setting up the legends of professional wrestling. It's still just Jim Cornette, New Jack, Just Incredible, and the Blue Meanie, but there's more that are coming soon. They just haven't really got them ready yet. Rising Stars of Wrestling, they're talking about Series 2 is coming out, and it includes, you're going to love this, Series 2 includes Joey Ryan, Tama Tonga, Cliff Compton, and yes, Kenny Omega.
Boom.
So for those of you out there that are fans of Colt Cabana's podcast, my advice to you, somebody get on a great Power Uti custom so I can have him face off against Super Domino.
He better
And
have
Dallas.
he better have a fucking entrance with fucking saxophone.
It's great because literally there is Compton and Gallows that have the figures in the Rising Star series. Someone has to make a Power Uti figure just so they can reenact that.
I want a great Power Uti pop vinyl.
Yes. I want the Joey Ryan figure to come with a lollipop, but it does not. Surprisingly. Awesome figures.
With your name on it.
Awesome figures available online at figurestoycompany.com. You want to buy the whole set? It's about $120. They're $30 a piece for the figures, but they're very articulate and very well done. Plus, you've got AJ in 2 different variants. You have the Bucks, you have Brian Myers, and Gallows. So, I mean, there is a Young Bucks 2-pack that does exist.
I missed this news. Thank God I've actually found out. Fire Pro Wrestling World comes to Steam Early Access for $20 July 10th.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I upgraded my computer at the right time. Yes! I might just have to buy that because it's Fire Pro Wrestling, motherfuckers.
Is that going to be available on consoles as well?
I believe they are working on a PS4 version.
Good, I've got a PS4.
At least. There might be a 1 version because PC to 1 seems to be easier in terms of architecture, but certainly it's starting off on Steam, but in early access. So that probably means that it won't be coming on PS4 until the actual full game's ready, at least on PC. So
makes sense.
Now, this is some UFC stuff that's just cropped up. So TMZ is reporting that the Ballinger Group suing Nate Diaz, alleging that he committed theft, breach of contract, and fraud, amongst other charges. The group claims that Diaz fired them shortly before the McGregor match at 202 and failed to pay them for their work in negotiating some of his fights, and are requesting more than $1 million in damages. Jeez, Louise, and all that. Oscar De La Hoya said that the Mayweather-McGregor fight is disrespectful because the announcement means it's overshadowed the fight that he's booking, which is the Golovkin versus Alvarez boxing match. So Bisping's apparently said that Dana White told him that GSP doesn't want to fight him. Called to make him an offer which wasn't for a fight, and then told him he'd make the GSP bout happen if he could, but apparently GSP doesn't. That's confusing. And also Megan Anderson, in her sort of last minute, she's stepping in to sort of just take on for the vacant belt, is saying that everyone will find out how human the Cyborg is after their matchup. So like Justice League, maybe. Who knows? So then, I guess we'll get to results and cards for this weekend. So Preston City Wrestling's free show. They had one in the afternoon, but I don't know what happened with that. Doesn't seem to be a full listed card. I do have the PCW versus IPW UK set of shows, though. So the Blackpool Tower show from Preston City Wrestling from Saturday had Lionheart beat Arcadian, Jake Long, Joey Hayes, Ophidian, and Sona Durson in the 6-way. Philip Michael beat Cuban Heat. Lucy Cole and Soraya Knight defeated Christy James and Shotzi Blackheart. Yestin Reese retained the PCW title over the open challenger that is Moose. The UK Hooligans beat DND of Kieran Donnelly and Danny Duggan to retain the PCW tag belt. Zach Gibson beat Matt Brooks. Tyson T-Bone victorious over Jimmy Havoc in the street fight. And then Dean Allmark won the cruiserweight belt of Ashton Smith. So new champ there. So the following day, they decided to do the IPW versus PCW decider. So this is International Pro Wrestling that had their show in Tonbridge. The important thing really to know about it is IPW UK technically won by 6 points to 4 because it was 2 points for a win. For the matches that were part of the tournament thing. Although it is worth noting that Moose retained the Impact Grand title over Semi Smooth. I don't know what type of match it was, but it happened. This weekend, they've also got more free shows happening. So they've got a show on Friday. I think nearly all these shows are sold out at Evoke in Preston. And then afterwards, they're doing a stand-up show in the PCW Academy, which is basically pretty close to Evoke anyway. And then shows 2 and 3 are going to be an afternoon and an evening show at the Preston Guild Hall. So in terms of these shows, the cards that we know of the matches, so show 1 on the Friday will have debut of Zia Brookside. I'm guessing that was Robbie's daughter. Taking on Soraya Knight. That's a trial by fire. The Hooligans will be defending their tag belts against mystery opponents to be revealed on the show. Dean Allmark's already busy with the Cruiserweight title. So the rematch is happening with Ashton Smith. However, Chris Ridgway also earned a shot previously. So Allmark defends against Smith and Ridgway in a triple threat. X-Pac teams up with Moose to take on Yeston Reese and Zach Gibson. T-Bone faces Philip Michael. And then Joey Hayes is in trouble because both his tag partners are facing each other one-on-one, as it's Danny Hope versus Martin Kirby. Only matches confirmed for the afternoon show 2 so far on the Saturday. A Lionheart versus Danny Hope and Charles Samuels versus Joey Hayes. And then the evening show has X-Pac, Danny Hope, and Joey Hayes in 6-man tag actions against Charles Samuels, Lionheart, and Yeston Reese. The Bucky Boys will be debuting in PCW. And the big one, for the first time ever in Preston City Wrestling, there's going to be a steel cage match, and it's going to be T-Bone versus Bubblegum. So moving back, I only did that because obviously it's following on the results. Southside Wrestling's Limitless from, I should really have a calendar up, from Sunday. Adam Maxted beat Ashley Dunn, Blake, and Ricky Knight Jr., so Maxted gets the 10,000 contract like we talked about last week. Charlie Morgan beat Christy James. GBH of Big Grizzly and Robbie X beat the GBH and the Hooligans of Roy Knight and Zack Knight went to a double DQ. So nobody won. Chris Tyler beat Ophidian, HC Dyer, victorious over Flip Gordon. Joseph Connors beat Aaron Solo. In the 7-minute 34 Iron Man match, Swoggle beat Gracie by 4-0. Swoggle got 4 falls in 7 minutes. What? And the main event, we have a new Speed King champion because Davey Richards beat Bubblegum. So Davey's on an expedition of gold himself, apparently, because he retained the CZW belt and won the Speed King belt. So he's been busy. Speaking of busy, in a lot of different ways, Destiny Wrestling in Mississauga. I won't go through all the matches, so sorry to Destiny Wrestling for that. The big thing, though, coming out of it is there is a new Dreamwave Wrestling champion, and his name's Pete Dunne. Jesus Christ, what isn't he winning right now? Progress champion. Progress champ. WWE UK champ. Dreamwave Wrestling champ. Blimey, Charlie. He also retained at the show on the Sunday in Montreal against Psycho Mike and Black Dynamite, because that's a thing. Lucha in the 6 had their Kensington Market Lucha Fest show. Main event of that one was Serpentico beating Chris Dickinson. Again, I would go through more, but because of the time, I sort of want to get through somewhat quickly. So here's the interesting one. C4, their season finale, as it turned out, for Crossing the Line 10, Inferno, because Dan Brown. Kobe Durst retained against Vanessa Craven. Frank Milano, Bob Anger, and Brendan O'Connor beat Michael Von Payton, Dino Benjamin, and Mikey Skyros. Space Monkey beat Yaka. Tyson Dukes made Matt Angel submit to a Boston Crab and then shook his hand afterwards as a sign of respect. Brute Van Slyke, still undefeated in the company, beating Facade, Evil Uno, and Shane Saber. Cecil Nix beat Sebastian Suave, ending the rivalry. Vanessa Craven apparently got revenge on Suave because I think he interfered somehow in the... he basically interfered because Craven cut him off, like in the show the previous month or whatever. Fight or Flight retained the tag belts against High and Mighty and EYFBO. Bucks Belmar beat Ethan Page. Then Mathieu St. Jack beat Stu Drayson and Thomas Dubois to retain the C4 title. And then former owner, I don't know, because I don't know enough about C4 yet, Twiggy showed up along with Frankie the Mobster and Tyson Dukes. Then Evil Uno ran out to stand next to Stu Grayson. And Uno smashed St. Jack with the chair, smashed Dubois with the chair, put the chair down in front of Stu, and held his hands out for a moment for a hug, and then sprayed mist in Stu's eyes, and then Paul drove him on the chair. And then Twiggy picked up the title, only to throw it down and stomp on it. So we got a stable. That's a season finale. The new season properly kicks off September 30th, but before then, they're doing the charity show. their 7th annual Canadian Cancer Society fundraising show. Fighting Back Wrestling with Cancer 2017 on Saturday, August the 12th. So we'll definitely be covering that one. Because it's for charity, motherfuckers. Alpha One Wrestling. Do or do not, there is no try. Big stuff happened on here as well. Space Monkey is Zero Gravity champion. He beat Alessandro Del Bruno, who I think has been champ for at least a year. So full credit to him for having it for that long. The 6-man was won by Mark Greeler, beating Cloudy, Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham, Gregory I, and Hellcat Jim Nye, and Josh Rogan. I guess it was a 7-way then. Alex Daniels beat Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Shane Saber victorious over Joey Kings in a tables match. Ricky Shane Page beat Eddie Kingston. In the 2 out of 3 falls match, it did go to all 3 falls, but it was Guarini that won against Eric Carney. So Guarini retains his right to challenge the Alpha Male champ. Speaking of that, Kobe Durst retained that belt, beating Justin Zane. And then in the main events, Virus of Gavin Quinn and Josh Alexander were unsuccessful in retaining the belt. So the new champs are the 2 stars of Ethan Page and Cody Rhodes. And they will be back for the next show in July, which is entitled The Purge 2. So does that mean The Purge 2 is going to be slightly more shit than the first one? And then does that mean that next year's is going to be called what? Was it Purge Free Election or something?
Election year.
Election year. Which I really hope that there's a Canadian election in 2018. Because that'd be ironic. House of Hardcore. Down Under. I'd say the big stuff that's come out of this is I was sort of right. The mystery tag team is the Spirit Squad.
Makes sense.
You know, there's been matches and everything. The best stuff to come out of the House of Hardcore tour, though, being the Elite and all that stuff. It is worth noting as well, they keep advertising and listing all these people facing special guests because legally they can't call him Carlito. So if you're wondering why write-ups say special guest, that's actually Carlito.
Wow.
Which is a bit interesting. So yeah, that's a thing. They have got shows coming up this weekend. I'll get to them in a minute because there's too much to scroll through. So Shikara, the Johnny Kidd Invitational for Father's Day. So the first up, the quarterfinals, Zack Sabre Jr. beat Quack with a half Nelson suplex after ducking Quack's palm strike. Roy Gulak beat Travis Huckabee with a small package cradle out of a front face lock. Matt Riddle made Hallowicked tap to the Bro Mission. And Juan Francisco de Coronado pinned James Mason with a jackknife pin while his feet were on the ropes. Then, with the Young Lions Cup, we have a new champ again. Hermit Crab beat Silverhawk, making him submit to a Boston Crab. So Hermit Crab has the Young Lions Cup. Congrats to him. Next up, the Johnny Kidd semifinals. Rory Gulak made Zack submit to a Dragon Sleeper. What? Some would say that was amazing. Don't know why. And then the other semifinal, Juan Francisco de Coronado beat Matt Riddle after he made Riddle pass out to the Coronado clutch after attacking Riddle with the Ecuadorian flag and stomping on his head because reasons. Mick Moretti beat Jessica Troy with a Snapmare driver. The Tempora Boys beat Cyberhawk 2000 with a Diamond Dust out of a Gory Stretch combo. And then in the final, Roy Gulak won the tournament, making Coronado tap out instantly to the Dragon Sleeper. So I don't know whether it was like an instant tap out or whether he locked on the Dragon Sleeper like as the first move and it was already over. I'm not sure. The thing is, because these are matches in Chikara, I'm wondering whether that means because Gulak won and won 3 matches, whether he's eligible to actually challenge for the title. I don't know these things. We will have to see. AAW's Killers Among Us. We had ACH beat Garza Jr. Eddie Kingston defeated Jeff Cobb. Jake Chris beat Paco Gonzalez, Chuck Taylor, and Davey Vega in the 4-way. Zack Sabre Jr. victorious over Matt Fitchett in a 14-minute match. Wow. Loki beat Abyss with 6 minutes and change gone. Penta beat Trevor Lee to retain the Heritage title. Zachary Wentz, Desmond Xavier, and DJZ beat Stephen Wolf, Trey Miguel, and Myron Reed. John Morrison beat Brian Cage. War Machine victorious over Red Dragon. And the main event, Sami Callihan retained the AAW title, beating Michael Elgin in about 25 minutes. Man, they gave that a bit of time. So with WWN, with the style battle, Anthony Henry beat Matt Tremont, which is weird. Joey Janela beat Jimmy Lloyd. Francisco Ciazco beat Teddy Stigma. And Fred Yehai beat Maxwell Jacob Freeman. Then they had the semifinals with Anthony Henry beating Joey Janela and Fred Yehai beating Francisco Ciazco. The intermission, we've got 6-man mayhem. So it's AR Fox, David Alley, Tommy Maserati, Alan Angel, Leon Ruff, and Cavron Canyon in action. AR Fox wins it. Then the WWN title match, Matt Riddle retained over Martin Stone. And then the main event, so Anthony Henry versus Fred Yehai. Anthony Henry wins. And yeah, it's interesting. And Anthony Henry's finally got in after his last opportunity. And he's going to go after Friedman. And on July 8th and 9th, he makes his return to Evolve when they go to Charlotte and Atlanta. And then Friedman actually comes out and says he wants to apologize for the way he behaved earlier. And they'll have a match tomorrow on the FIP show and wants to make an impact. Wants to show everybody that they're the potential faces of the future faces of WWN. And wants a handshake. And of course, they shake hands. And then bloody Amber is attacked from behind. And Maxwell makes Anthony watch the attack. Jeez. So the FIP show the day after. Probably the big stuff that came out of it. Matt Riddle retained the WWN title, beating John Davis for the Pro Mission. Fred Yehai beat Joey Janela to retain the FIP world title. But then Martin Stone shows up and says he wants a shot at the title at the next show in August, which Yehai accepts. Then the Hooligans of Devin and Mason Cutter beat Tremont and Stigma to retain the world tag titles in FIP. Tremont offers a handshake to Stigma afterwards, only for it to be accepted and then followed by Teddy nailing him in the back with a death stick. And then Matt says, "You're dead," which is probably not a great thing. This is obviously resolved from a match that they were supposed to have, but it never happened because Stigma said, "Why don't we team up instead and face for the tag belts?" Yes, that's a thing. And also in the match that they teased, Anthony Henry beat Maxwell Jacob Friedman with a frog splash. And then we get to PWG. Man on the Silver Mountain. Man, this card. So Chuck Taylor beat Trevor Lee with a crossbody. Desmond Xavier won the triple threat over Jason Cade and Jake Crist with a spiral tap on Cade. Keith Lee beat Leo Rush with a spirit bomb. The Unbreakable fucking Machines of Cage and Elgin beat War Machine after Cage pinned Rowe after a load of double team power moves. Sammy Callahan made Matt Seidel's tap to the stretch muffler. Jeff Cobb beat Trent with Tour of the Islands. The leaders of Sabre and Skull beat Red Dragon via submission. And then after this, Chuck challenged Zack Sabre Jr. for a title shot on the next show. And if he didn't win it, he would never challenge for the title ever again. So July 7th, pushing forward back. On top of that match between Sabre and Chuck Taylor, we've also got Elgin and Cage, the fucking Machines, taking on the Young Bucks. Ricochet versus Trevor Lee. 6-man tag action with Sammy Callahan teaming up with Jake and Dave Crist to take on Shane Strickland, Jason Cade, and Desmond Xavier. Ray Phoenix is back to take on Keith Lee. Leo Rush one-on-one with Trent Beretta. And then in a very interesting debut versus debut, Sammy Guevara faces Ray Horus, a.k.a. Dragon Azteca Jr. And we haven't even got to Bowler yet. So this weekend, the House of Hardcore have got a couple of shows this Friday and Saturday. Friday in Melbourne features Swagger, Tommy Dreamer, and MVP in a triple threat. Matt Cross versus Andy Phoenix. Billy Gunn versus Bull James. Swoggle versus Muhammad Ali Vaez. Mystery former tag champs ensuring open challenge. That's obviously Spirit Squad. And then Adelaide on Saturday features Tommy Dreamer and MVP versus Spirit Squad. Jack Swagger versus Billy Gunn. Colt Cabana taking on Muhammad Ali Vaez. Matt Cross versus Andy Phoenix. And Swoggle versus Ryan Nemeth. Along with other matches probably skip to happen. Fight Club Pro. Stranger Than Fixin', which is ironic because the show's now at Starworks Warehouse. So they've kept the title, even though they're in a different venue. 3 matches announced so far, at least when I checked earlier on. We've got CCK taking on Mustache Mountain, which they literally said in their message. They did it because it's happening everywhere else. So they're just, if people want to see it, we might as well do it. We've got an interesting triple threat. Mark Haskins versus Jordan Devlin versus Will Ospreay. And the main event, I don't know whether it's for the Fight Club Pro title. Travis Banks versus Pete Dunne. That feud that's apparently going on in every promotion as well, practically. Speaking of, Progress Wrestling has a show this Sunday. It's the 50th one. Which, of course, because of that, they're honoringly naming it I Give It 6 months. Because that's what they thought originally. Now, a couple of years on, this is still a thing. They're also doing Freedom's Road tapings on Tuesday at the Dome in Tufnell Park. I think there are still tickets for that available, which are only £9. It's featuring most of the young and up-and-coming talent like Daryl Allen, Shakara. Not Shikara, but Shakara. Earl Black Jr., RJ Singh, Candy Floss, Big T Justice, Nina Samuels, and probably more. The Chapter 50 show, unsurprisingly, is sold out. I think as well I saw a message from them that the show that they've got coming up at Ali Pali has already sold 1,800 tickets. Despite the fact there is not a single match advertised for that show. So yeah, that's busy. So coming up, the confirmed matches so far. James Drake versus Travis Banks. Flash Morgan Webster taking on Jack Sexsmith. Jimmy Havoc and Mark Haskins face Zach Gibson and Nathan Cruz. And also Pete Dunne will have something to say, apparently. I don't know regarding his future, who knows. Also, they've announced that the New York show in or around SummerSlam time in August is going to be having Jimmy Havoc versus Joey Janela in a no DQ match.
Yes.
Destiny Wrestling's having a special showcase at the Innisfil Rib Fest. Oh, they got ribs. Love it. 7315 Yonge Street in Innisfil, Ontario, in case you want to go. The show is happening this Sunday afternoon for an hour or so as part of that. CWF Mid-Atlantic's Absolute Justice this Saturday in its usual home of the Mid-Atlantic Sportatorium in Gibsonville, North Carolina. So on this one, going from the bottom up, we've got Kane Justice versus Mitch Connor. Then for the TV title, Eric Andrews faces a challenger randomly drawn by the fans. Ket Sterling puts the Ultra J title on the line against Jakob Hammermeyer. Oh, wow, Jakob's in here. Nice. Then it's the 11th annual Everything to Lose match. The tag champs, Zayn and Dave Dawson, face Mecha Mercenary and Aaron Biggs, Sis and him, and Ethan Sharp's Moneyball. Sorry, that's a bloody good name. Everybody has to risk something. I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm guessing the tag champs are probably putting their tag belts on the line. Probably. There's also a grudge tag team match with Roy Wilkins and a mystery partner facing Dirty Daddy and Snooty Fox. It's a mystery partner because Coach Gemini has been banned because he's serving a 1-game suspension. Because that's a thing. And the main event, no DQ, no time limit, no holds barred. Trevor Lee defends against Nick Richards. Now we come to Wrestle Circus. So yeah, this is the one that's free on Twitch, but you can tip or donate. You can subscribe to them, help them out. Certainly, I will be subscribing to them once my Twitch Prime free token is available. The show's 6 p.m. Central Local Time on Saturday at 800 Congress Avenue in Austin, Texas. So this is the card, which, for a card that's being given away for free on Twitch, is pleasantly surprising. So Myron Reed is defending the Glory Pro Crown of Glory title against Michael Elgin. Shane Strickland, Mr. 450, Leo Rush, and Desmond Xavier in a ladder match. I don't know why it's a ladder match. I'm just saying it's awesome that it's a ladder match. Joey Ryan defends the Pro Wrestling Revolver Open Invite title against, well, a lot of people because it's an open invite. The ones listed so far are Dave Christ, Jake Christ, Jason Cade, Tessa Blanchard, Laura Claire James. Yes, that's Joey's wife. Christy James, Leva Bates, Delilah Doom, Jordan Lennox, Brody King, and more. I am wondering what Leva's going to be cosplaying as. Hopefully it's nothing to do with Transformers. God damn it. I mean, secretly, I hope she dresses up as Baby from Baby Driver. But I don't know if that's a cult thing yet. It should be. Red Dragon take on the Lucha Bros of Phoenix and Penta. That already is good. Rachel Ellering defends the Lady of the Ring title against Mia Yim. Scorpio Sky with Kevin Condren takes on Jeff Cobb. The big top tag titles on the line as the Gorillas of Fuck defend against Roppongi Vice. In the battle of, I think, as Joey Janela put it, the Bone Suckers. Sami Callihan and Jessica Havoc face Adam Cole and Britt Baker. Because I think they're both couples. I think.
They are.
Yeah, so that's why that's happening. And then main event, Brian Cage defends the Ringmaster title against Sammy Guevara. The reason why I do that Bone Sucker stuff is because awesome stuff happened regarding promos for the next promotion we're looking at, and that's Beyond Wrestling, because they're doing a Go With The Flow pay-per-view. It's basically going to be the afternoon show leading into the Evolve show that's happening Saturday evening. So it's on Flow Slam and everything in Melrose, Massachusetts. So on the card, Tabernacle team are set to be involved, but I'm not sure against who. So the match is set. Ace Romero versus JT Dunn. The Hit Squad of Mafia and Monster Mac take on Massage Envy of VSK and Dorian Graves. The Gentleman's Club of Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy face the American Destroyers of Mikey Webb and Donovan Dijak. Wheeler Yuta versus Maxwell Jacob Freeman. Brandon Watts taking on AR Fox. EYFBO versus the Carnies. Doom Patrol face the Beaver Boys. In the double header of the Bone Sucker combination, Shayna Baszler faces Penelope Ford and Chuck O'Neill is taking on Joey Janela. And the main event, Matt Riddle versus Keith Lee. Keep in mind, American Rana coming up at the end of July. They've already confirmed that it's going to be Janela versus Riddle. That could be tasty. So the Evolve shows this weekend. This Saturday in Melrose, Massachusetts. The match is confirmed so far. Timothy Thatcher taking on Austin Theory. Tracy Williams versus Jason Kincaid. Yaka versus Fred Yehai. Chris Dickinson taking on ACH. Keith Lee versus Ethan Page. And Zack Sabre Jr. and Matt Riddle one-on-one. No titles are up for grabs. Yet. I wouldn't be surprised if anything got added. And then the following day, on the Sunday, Evolve 87 from Laboom in Woodside, New York. So with this one, it's Timothy Thatcher versus Jason Kincaid. ACH versus Tracy Williams in a rematch from Evolve 78. Trent Beretta takes on Austin Theory. Chris Dickinson faces Fred Yehai. Zack Sabre Jr. defends the Evolve title against Yaka. And in the main event, Matt Riddle defends the WWN title against Keith Lee. Oh, that could be an interesting one. Ethan Page is set to be part, certainly, of the Evolve 87 show. Also, for both shows, Priscilla Kelly is supposed to be in action in some shape or form, or at least there. And I think that's it.
Okay.
We done.
Good. So that ends another edition of the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast. So this Friday night, as soon as Best in the World finishes, Ashley and myself will be going live to talk Ring of Honor. Back here next Monday for... very excited for that. Monday is going to be Raw after Raw's over. And back here next Wednesday at 9 p.m. for the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast. Once again, it was nice seeing everyone in chat today. Jeremy Mills, Pinhead Larry, Tyler Powell, Ginger Boy Wonder, and the very bizarre Enzo and Cass back and forth that I saw tonight. That's a thing. And on top of that, Ashley, where can we find you on social media?
I'm on Twitter at Ash is my name UK.
Right. Gaming with Ash should be coming back very soon. A lot of gaming stuff that hasn't been covered yet. Ashley will be getting on that as soon as he's able to.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, we also have a Twitter here on Podcast Network, that Podcast Network. Follow me on Twitter at Sorowan Disney. Check out our Facebook fan page at Popcast Network, as well as our Zazzle merch and our Patreon at Popcast Network as well. Good programming tomorrow is, or now I could say today, is Sip and Snack. We're going to continue our soda theme for the month of June. And of course, the last one is going to be something fitting of July, if you know what I mean. AJ takes over the weekend, this coming weekend, of course, with the newest episode of Fargo on Friday, the newest edition of Versus on Saturday, and the brand new AJ's movie review on Sunday. And of course, like I said, this Friday night, check out the Ring of Honor Best in the World 2017 podcast as soon as the show concludes. So a lot of wrestling content coming, and next week, Slammiversary. So yeah, a lot of wrestling content here on this network. So as always, I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. And in a world where there are a billion wrestling podcasts, we are very pleased that once more this evening you have chosen the Popcast. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Support the Bullet Club merchandise, because if you do so, Hot Topic will bring us more really cool things.
Go watch Baby Driver. Fuck Transformers.
And until tomorrow, boys and girls, Halloween Horror Nights is not very long, so get ready and get your tickets now. And that's all we got to say about that.
You know what they say about Scott Steiner? He's not Indian!